What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all, now y'all can hear me. What's going on, everybody? Every Thursday we have the panel. You guys have been here. You've seen it. We 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. When the time zone changes, Arizona time. All of y'all out there are crazy. Your states are crazy. I don't know why y'all still changing time zone. It's 2021. So anyway, it's always going to be on Arizona time if you follow that. So a lot of stuff to talk about today. A couple of things I want to address. The Henry Ruggs situation. I've been talking about that all day. Just got off a flight for like 7 hours, and I still can't get that off my mind. We're going to talk about Sleepy Joe. We're going to talk about a little bit about what I experienced on campus when I went to the University of Kentucky the other day. We'll talk a little bit about American Airlines. I freaking missed my entire flight to Tampa to an event. So we'll talk about all this stuff. So joining me today, without further ado, we got the one and only, the ABL. What's up, ABL?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
If you want to know somebody smart and in touch with reality, this is your guy right here, ABL. We got my boy Craig Long in the house.
What's up?
I know y'all missed me in Tampa. Craig Long in the house. Man. What's up? And then yours truly, my boy Jericho Green.
Man, we need to take a road trip to DC with some baby powder and just get the leaving handprints. Let's go, fellas. Let's go.
I'm thinking about a sock. Homie, don't play that with a sock. But anyway, let's start out with the Henry Ruggs situation. I don't know if you guys are up to date on it, but I'll give some quick synopsis or some quick details about it, and then we could talk about it. So Henry Ruggs, he played wide receiver for the Alabama Roll Tide, and then he went on to play for the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Now I want to call them Oakland Raiders. Doing an incredible job. He's having a good season. I guarantee he was going to get paid a lot of money in his next season. He was going to get paid out. He decided the other day that he wanted to get drunk and drive his motor vehicle at 150 miles per hour and rear ends a young lady at 120 miles per hour. Her car catches on fire. He's just, he's injured. He's seriously injured. He didn't die. It wasn't critical. Her car catches on fire. She burns alive. She was alive, screaming for help as she burned in her car because this guy with millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars at minimum, could have gotten an Uber, could have decided not to drink, but he decided to do it anyway. And now he's being charged with all kinds of crimes. I think he had a gun in the car. Being intoxicated with a gun is illegally in possession of a firearm while intoxicated. He probably going to get charged with second-degree murder for DUI, it resulting in somebody's death. He's probably going to get charged with a whole bunch of reckless speeding, endangerment. I mean, it's all kind of stuff they're going to throw at him, rightfully so. So what are y'all's thoughts on that? Derek Carr came out and said, look, he's going to be there for him, support him as a godly man. What do you guys think about that situation?
He's toast 100% because there's no excuse there. It's not like what happened to, what was that? Was it Dante Stallworth?
No, it's Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, I think that was an accident, like a real accident. It wasn't intentional. And he wasn't drunk behind the wheel or anything like that because it was a car accident. I think somebody may have died or whatever. But it was a pure accident. See, it's different.
Oh, yeah, I think a guy was crossing the road and then Dante hit him at night.
Right, something like that. It's an accident. You didn't mean for it to happen. You're apologetic and whatnot. Now, this case was not that because you got quite a few things going on. First of all, you're behind the wheel of a car drunk. That's the first no right there. Right away, you're wrong. Then, not only are you speeding, you're recklessly driving. Then it's 154 miles an hour in a residential area. You're drunk, got a gun in the car, speeding, and you hit somebody and they die. You're toast. You're going to the penitentiary. It's beyond just trying to get sympathy or anything like that, or trying to stay in the NFL. You're trying to regain your freedom, and your freedom is toast. And how can you be in the NFL with that? I mean, guys in the NFL have done a lot of things. You got domestic violence, and you had Michael Vick. He went to the penitentiary for fighting dogs and came back. But you kill somebody when you drunk with a gun and you going that fast in a residential area, you toast. And people trying to defend them. What are you defending? Somebody said, oh, we all make mistakes. Well, I never got behind the wheel of a car.
Never done that.
I never done that. That's like saying, hey man, everybody shoot people. Hey, you might shoot somebody and kill them every now and again.
Yeah, everybody do drive-bys.
Everybody do drive-bys. Everybody shoot heroin every now and again, man. This is no. What he did, he's toast.
We all make mistakes, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't suffer the consequences for your mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's a rare mistake. I don't like when people say, "Oh, we all make mistakes." No, this is rare. It's rare that somebody's drunk and going 150 miles per hour, rear into somebody, and they burn alive in a car. That's not everybody. That's like him and probably a few other people, especially when you talk about somebody with that amount of access to capital, resources.
I mean, there's a life that's lost, that's never going to come back. We don't know if that was someone's mother. You know what I mean? It's a life lost. Man, this guy, he needs to pay. He's got to pay for his mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting, man. I hold a special ball of hatred for people who do this, because I lost an uncle to a drunk driver. And it's always the good guys. He give you the shirt off his back, the whole nine. Worked a late shift, was heading home 2 blocks from home. Some drunk guy decided, I don't need to pay attention to that stop sign. Hit him, killed him, and then of course left the scene. Eventually he was caught. So it's bad enough, it's dangerous enough being in society with the general public, and you're at the will of people's decisions. But just because he wanted to jump behind the wheel and would show off with his girl, show off his Corvette, he pushed that girl's car over 500 feet when he slammed into her. It takes a lot of force to move a big chunk of metal like that 500 feet. And then the people around there stood there and listened to that girl scream as she burned alive, as she burned to death.
Did he at least try to help the girl?
I think he was messed up.
He was injured. He was laying out on the sidewalk. And unfortunately, they couldn't switch places. And I've heard this or seen this a couple times when people say he threw his life away. No, he threw her life away. I don't care about his life. I don't care about what time he served. I don't care about nothing. He threw that 23-year-old young lady's life away. She made the mistake of sitting there with her dog in the car while this child was screaming down the street in his fast car. And I mean, it's Vegas. There's a desert. Why not take him a couple 100 yards away? It's a wrap. Save us some money, or the people of Las Vegas or Nevada money, putting this fool in prison. And the NFL, it's part of their collective bargaining agreement. It has been for a long time. But there's a car service they can call anywhere on earth. I don't care where you are, the most remote point on earth. You can be in the Arctic. There's a number you can call, and they will send your rich behind a car to pick you up. It don't matter where you are, what you're doing. You call that number, a car is going to come and get you. The driver of that car is going to be sober. Nobody's going to get hurt. But because this idiot decided to get out there and turn up, now the shockwave has been sent out in this girl's life. Her parents, her siblings, if she has them, her friends, her coworkers, her neighbors, anybody who had an interaction with her is going to be like, oh man, that girl's dead, to inconsolable sobbing, the closer you get to her. So when people say he threw his life away, damn his life. He took that girl's, who knows what she would have done with her life? Who knows the life she would have created? He made a bad decision and snuffed that girl's light out. That is unforgivable.
Who's standing up for this guy? Who are the people that's trying to stand up for him? Like,
how can you stand up for somebody like that? That dude needs to be thrown away. He's garbage. He's defective. He's broken. Get rid of him.
Like this is the thing. I think that people look at his life, they forget about her, and they look at him and they say, well, he still got it. But it's like, dude, I get it. Derek Carr came out and said, look, we need to love him right now. We need to show him some love and support. Yeah. And I get why he said that, because as Christians, you're supposed to love people. But at the same time, you can't escape consequences because you're a Christian. You can't escape consequences because people praying for you. Like, you got to pay the piper, bro. That girl died. Mm-hmm. Somebody in the comment section said that she was unconscious. But according to some witnesses, at least what I read, according to witnesses, they said that she was
yelling help.
Yelling for help as she burned alive. So I don't know what I wish to God she was unconscious, but it appears that witnesses were saying that she wasn't unconscious and that she was screaming for help, and they couldn't help her because she was engulfed in flames. Now I've seen car accidents like this when I was a cop, and it's horrible, dude. It's horrible to think that your daughter may have burnt alive like that when this was 100% avoidable. DUIs are 100% avoidable. You do not have to drive when you drink. And now you got Ubers, you got all this other stuff. There's no excuses, but it comes down to accountability, being accountable. Like when nobody's watching, what are you doing? Having integrity. What are you doing when nobody's watching, dude? Yeah, nobody's going to be there for you when you're drunk. Nobody's going to be there to tell you not get in the car. You have to have it in you to say, I'm in the middle of my season. I got my baby mama in the car. I have children. My whole team is looking forward to the season. We got to do what's right. I got a whole team of people I can call. I got so much money that I can hire a service for a vehicle to just wait outside the club for me. I have all access to everything. I got my family I'm trying to bring out of poverty. I got all of these people that are dependent on me. You don't have to make that decision. You could walk away from. But if you don't have integrity, and I don't know this kid, but it appears that he think that he's bigger than the world. He bigger than his baby mama stuff. He bigger than his kids. He's bigger than his teammates. Bigger than the fact they're in the middle of the season. He's bigger than that.
Hey, you know what's bigger than him? His cellmate. I hope he is.
It probably is. That dude's skinny, man. He fast.
I hope his cellmate's big as the doorway. Later,
he definitely gonna get some time.
Hey, you know what Chappelle
he gonna
said?
get some time.
Nighty night. Keep your
Yeah.
That's horrible, disgusting, and it's so avoidable, like you said, man.
But yeah, he gonna get some time. I mean, when I was a cop, there was a kid. I was in a situation just like this. He was drunk driving. He hit a guy, killed him, and he got sentenced to 25 years. It was 20 or 25 years, second-degree murder. And so they're gonna, if you kill somebody while getting a DUI in Arizona, you get charged with second-degree murder, which is a 25-year charge by itself. And then you add in other stuff. So he may get charged. He ain't gonna do no real time. He gonna get charged. They're gonna sentence him to like 20 years or 15 years. He ain't gonna do nothing about 8, and he gonna be out. Just so everybody aware, the criminal justice system and black and brown, they finna throw the book at him on paper, but he ain't gonna do nothing but 8 years and be out for parole. I guarantee you it is. I guarantee you.
Why? Why is that? Because he has the funds to be able to hire a good lawyer. And they always want to compare apples to oranges with other people. He's got the resources to be able to get a good lawyer. They're going to throw the book at him just like anybody else. But because he has the funds to be able to get a good lawyer, his outcome is going to be different. But we have those people that constantly say, oh, the justice system is biased towards black folks. Well, here we go. We got a black man that's in the NFL. He's got the resources to be able to get a good lawyer, committed several terrible crimes. And they're going to throw the book at him just like anybody else, whether he was white, Hispanic, black. They're going to throw it at him just like anybody else. And we just going to see the outcome. But I think Brandon hit on the nails. We already know what this outcome is going to be, even with a lost life. And that's what's sad. You know, I get the gray area where people are like, oh, don't be too hard on him. He made a mistake. But, man, that's somebody's life. That could have been one of our sisters or somebody's mama. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear, oh, he's a Christian man and he just made a mistake. Man, his mistake just took somebody's sister, somebody's mama. You know what I mean? So, hey, man.
If it was my wife, man, I mean,
don't go down that street,
bro.
man.
I would hope that he would go. I mean, I'd probably kill a guy. I'd probably hunt him down.
Get in my car, go 100 something miles.
You gotta die today, bro. I can't handle it. My wife is gone because you want to go 150 miles an hour. Listen, I was a police officer, and the fastest I've gone in a police car was 140. We were chasing a guy on the freeway, and we tried to get in front of him. He was on the frontage, so we went about 140 miles per hour on the freeway. He was 150 something on a residential street. Bro, you gotta be gunning it.
Walking.
Listen, bro, the car, his car, it ain't no Lambo. So it probably go from 0 to 60 in about, I don't know, 3 to 4 seconds. Or maybe 2 or 3 seconds, maybe. But from to 100 is probably 5 seconds. To 150, bro, you have to be driving for a period of time at a high rate of speed to get to 150. That car is not going at 150 in 5 seconds. That's not happening. He had to have been accelerating, and then when he got to 100, he was still punching it.
Yeah,
when he got to 120, 50, he was still punching it. I think he was going to go faster than that, but he had to hit the brakes. He hit her at 120, I think.
This example further supports what I say. You can make programs and you can throw money at things, but if people don't have their morality right, their morals and principles right, here's a man that is successful Do you know how hard it is to make it into the NFL? This man made it into the NFL. He's successful. He's made it. But his morality, his moral compass is still to do reckless, ridiculous stuff. They should have some type of program before they go into the NFL that really instills getting values and principles in place of their life, because it's going to change. We shouldn't even be seeing this kind of stuff when it comes to these athletes, these entertainers doing crazy stuff like this. This guy took somebody's life, man. So
they have a rookie symposium where they go in and they start talking to them about their money. They start talking to them about the people they need to be hanging out with. So they try, but that groundwork has to be laid. That groundwork has to be there. And they're not even, when they're in the rookie symposium, they're not even listening. They're thinking about when we get out of here. They're thinking about their rookie, the bonus they just got, the watches they're going to buy, the girls they're going to see. They ain't even listening. They're just there because they got to be. By the time you make it there, you ever work next to somebody who's an idiot and you wonder, how did you get here? How did you make it here? He's already there, man. That dude was broken a long time ago, so it's out of our hands. We can't fix him. Throw him away.
That whole symposium thing, they be in there falling asleep. They're not paying no attention, because once they get to the point where they're adults and they're in the NFL, you're not really going to change their mind at that point. That needs to be something that is already instilled in them from an early age, from a young age. Like, hey, don't speed, don't go 200 miles an hour in a residential area where you got kids outside playing. I mean, basic stuff like that. How can you really teach an adult that? You see what I'm saying? That needs to be a thing that you learn when you are a little kid. Like, okay, little Anthony, when you cross the street, look both ways so you don't get hit by a car. If you're 25 years old and you don't know that, how can that really be taught to you? You know,
it's the daddy, it's fathers. I when I played college football, the dudes who had dads who were strong men, they weren't cutting up like this. It was the dudes that had no guidance, because they would tell us time and time again, don't cut up, don't mess up. And when you mess up, bro, the whole team got to run. You know, whole team get punished. But the dudes without a dad was still, the reason I didn't cut up, because my father, it wasn't no coaches, it wasn't none of that. It was like, okay, I got to face my daddy. If I go out here and fail out this school and flunk these classes, I got to face my father. And I'm not trying to do that. That's not a good winning strategy for me. And so I remember my dad, all the things he told me, what I should do, and my mama, all the things my parents told me, what I should and shouldn't be doing, and I avoided those things in college. You know, and the dudes that was getting drunk the night before workouts, Bacardi coming out their pores when they were doing the conditioning. It's like, dude, they always did stuff they weren't supposed to do. They always trying to find ways to smoke weed and skip out on the test. When we had the presentations, when people come in and pour their heart out to us about being right and being accountable and life after football, they always, you know, was whatever, man. Whatever, man. I'm bigger than that. I like ain't nobody care about that, bro. I got this. You know, even with women, you know, I had to stop a dude. I thought he was gonna try to rape these girls in the room. We all in here. It's one dude in there.
Like,
four of us. Two girls come in the room. He turned the lights off, bro. You gotta get them.
What you doing?
You're gonna get us all in trouble.
Oh,
I don't care if they
everybody
want
going to jail.
I don't care.
I'm not going to.
I don't want to. I don't want to mess with these women. This is too sketchy. Like, this needs to be some one-on-one stuff. This ain't gonna be no group stuff. And I turned the lights on. I said, man, you need to get these girls out of here, bro. Yep. And they wasn't even really wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? They just was in the room. They just, you know, they curious. They stopped by. Hey, they football players, whatever. And then he just fool and shut the door, turn the lights off. Trying to get them out.
Nah.
But they don't have integrity, bro.
Nah.
So here's the thing. Somebody wrote, from what they understand, he took 18 shots and multiple drinks at Top Golf. So he went to Top Golf, went to somebody's house, and then he went home, according to what I heard. But I don't know if 18 shots were legit at Top Golf. But bro, to be double the legal limit, you got to be drinking. Like, it ain't just I had a glass, I had a whiskey on you know, I had a whiskey neat and
he was faded.
Now you drinking.
You had
what
to
about
be drinking.
What about the girl he was with? Why didn't she say, what the hell are you doing? I'm not getting in the car with you. You're drunk. Was she drunk too? I don't know.
Probably.
She probably, that's why she didn't die. Because they both were just floppy. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't get injured that bad.
He was conscious enough to tell her to stop yelling. You know what I mean? So
you know what? This happened to me one time. I was with a family member. I'm not gonna say the person's name. I'm with a family member. They taking me to my mama house or somewhere. I think I was staying with my mama, but I was visiting my grandmother, whatever. They taking me over to my mama house. This family member, he was drunk. His wife was not drunk. I was in the car and his younger child was in the car. I was a police officer at the time. And so I'm watching him and I'm like, bro, you didn't knock back the couple. You quasi slurring. But you get in a position where it's hard to tell people stuff. Because I told him I didn't know how to confront him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's my elder. I didn't know how to confront him about this. So I said, hey, look, I think that you shouldn't drive. I think you should let so-and-so drive because you drunk, man. And if you get a DUI with my nephew in the car, I already gave away who it was. You get a DUI with my nephew in the car, you're going to get felony DUI because a person under 16 in the car when you get a DUI, that's a felony. And so you're going to get in bigger trouble than you should. She haven't drunk anything. Let her drive. Well, ain't nobody driving my truck. And I'm just like, after it was down the street. So when I got home, I said, man, I pray for him, man. But some people you can't tell nothing to. Yeah. And they just going to do what they going to do, man. Mm-hmm. But it is sad, man. Go ahead.
I was in a vehicle. I was in my early 20s, and this dude, we were fishing, and he had been chugging vodka, and he drove out there. So we're leaving, and I'm like, man, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, man, I'm not getting in the truck. I'm not getting in the truck. Somehow they talk my dumb behind into getting in the truck. So we get about a quarter mile. He's starting to swerve a little bit. He's turning around talking while he's driving. Hey, God, what are we going to do? Hey, turn around, fool. So finally I said, man, let me out of the truck right now. Let me out right now. Oh, no, I'm good, man. I'm good, bruh. You don't let me out of this truck. I figure we're going to die anyway, so I'm about to knock you out while you're driving. Pull this truck over right now. Yeah. Luckily he did. But I kept thinking to myself in that powerless feeling of being in the passenger seat with this idiot behind the wheel. There's nothing you can do. You ain't going to jump out at the right time. And no, it was a Ford Bronco with the top cut off. So we were all about to be smashed all over the road. And I kept playing that in my mind. And I was like, I can't let this happen. So fortunately, he did pull over. And fortunately, one of our other buddies who was sober got behind the wheel and drove. But that could have been it. And that's the messed up part is all four of our lives would have been ended because of one stupid person's decision. And unfortunately, that was visited upon this girl and her family. Man, there's no amount of time that's going to heal those wounds. There's no my bads. I'm sorry. I should have done this. And one thing I hate that when people do something wrong, they say, well, if I could take it back, I could. Yeah, I bet you would, but you can't. And that's not going to make this any easier, man. That is just a horrible situation. And there is nothing life can visit upon you worse than taking your child, man. That's just horrible. For what? Yeah, because you wanted to turn up.
Let me add this, man. People do this all the time. I was a freshman. I was in a car with some girl. We were all drunk. I was drunk as a skunk. She drove. I don't know why nobody stopped. I didn't know she had drank. She would push pedal to the metal between each light we were going to. I mean, we got to 60, 70, and then she slammed on the brake. Turn green, she punching. And I'm drunk. I'm hanging out the window. I'm a freshman in college. I'm like, oh, I'm like, dang, she tripping. Like, I'm so drunk that I can't even figure. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like, am I in real life or am I dreaming? She gets to the club, bro. She gets out the car and she passes out. She was so drunk. And I'm like, dude, we all could have been dead. I'll tell you another quick story. My friends, tattooed on my arm right here. Dude, wrong way on the freeway. Boom, killed all of them. And of course, he lived for a couple of days in the hospital. A situation when I was a cop, this kid was driving down the road. And I hope that these stories help people that are watching this. Like, don't even take a chance. This was just as bad as the girl situation. This could have been even worse. The kid goes down the street. It's his birthday. He's just walking on the street. This kid pulls up next to him. Hey, man, you need a ride. The guy say, cool. I'll jump in. He jump in the passenger seat. The driver is drunk. He's going 80 miles per hour. Hit a light pole at 80. The pole don't move. I want people to understand that. When you hit a pole, it's not going to move. Nope. So the kid who was his birthday in the passenger seat, when they hit the pole, the front seat, and was in the trunk. The driver was fine. The girl behind him lost her legs. Her legs got amputated right there at the scene. but the kid that was in the passenger seat that was an innocent bystander was in the trunk with with the seat and everything. So he was all messed up.
Yeah.
But it just, I hope people understand it's like this drunk driving stuff is out of control, and don't get yourself in a situation. Thank God I lived through the one that I was in, but my God, don't put yourself in these situations where you ride with people or where you getting drunk like that and driving.
Also, one more thing. If you ride a motorcycle, please wear a helmet. Please wear a helmet. Yeah. Don't act like you're gonna be,
I'm guilty of that one.
Oh yeah. Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Now, I think something was wrong with my car back in Virginia some years ago. It was a long time ago, and I had to get it towed. And I'm talking to the tow truck driver. He was like, "Yeah, man, I just came home from the penitentiary. I'm out here doing my thing, towing cars." Like, okay, good. He was like, "Hey, man, you know what? Last week I was out here. I had to tow this motorcycle because it was an accident, and the person that was on the bike, their head got decapitated and it rolled down the street in the accident."
When was this?
This was probably about 10, 15 years ago.
Y'all forgive me.
Dude, because I'm from Virginia.
Yeah.
I literally watched somebody on a motorcycle. I don't know what happened. They lost control. They started sliding. They hit the garden rail, and it literally sliced the head right off. And it just, and that was probably good. It was a long time ago, but it was something to see. And they had a helmet on, the half rebel helmet.
Right.
It was wild.
The helmet might not protect everything. If you're getting your neck chopped, that's not. Well, but still, I mean, people that have minor, what could be a minor wreck turns into something that's fatal when you don't have that.
Yep. I had a guy. He just was riding his moped, just regular speed on the. It was a bicycle lane. Somebody looking this way pulled out in front of him. He hit it. He just rolled off.
Y'all killing me right now.
He didn't even hit the car that fast. He just rolled off. This was very sad for me, man, because I saw the whole dynamic, the family and everything. So he rolls off the car, bumps his head on the ground. He just had a little head trauma. He goes to the hospital. He's trying to fight them and stuff because he had trauma. I saw the man alive. That night he was dead because he had a hemorrhage in his brain and he died. It wasn't even fast. He just hit the car and he rolled and just bumped his head on the ground. Also, wear a helmet and wear a freaking seatbelt. I see people without seatbelts on, and I don't know how
because you will go through the windshield. You go straight through it.
People get this deception of like when you're driving that when the car stops, you stop. If there's operational momentum that you're going 50 miles per hour, you feel like you're just sitting in the car, but you're technically going 50, 60 miles per hour. And if that car comes to a stop, you're gonna keep going.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You had 3 accidents. They say it's 3 different accidents in one. The impact from the car, your bodily organs, and then whatever you hit inside the car.
Yeah.
There's 3 accidents. But I'm a living proof that wear a seatbelt. I think I was just released from prison. I wasn't even home about a month and a half. And this guy was speeding in the rain, lost control, came into our lane, hit his head on front end. I woke up with the engine on my knees. Only thing saved me was the seatbelt. If I didn't have that seatbelt, man, I would not be here today talking to y'all. The impact from that car was so much. If you didn't have a seatbelt, you will literally go through that windshield and be probably, I want to say probably 20, 30 feet away from the car.
Do y'all remember in California where that kid was racing on the freeway in that Honda Civic and he got into a car accident and they couldn't find his body? And what happened was he got ejected up on top of the traffic sign, the overpass. You know the sign that say Glendale exit. He was on top of the sign. Here. Oh, how we say? He was on top. He got ejected 40 feet up on top of the sign after getting hit in the car. Like I just, and I'm not trying to be gruesome enough. I just want people to understand that, dude. Like, and just think about these things can happen to you. Don't ever think that, oh, this won't happen to me. And if you don't believe the seatbelt thing, all you gotta do is go to YouTube, and I'm not gonna show it because they'll ban me. Go to YouTube and put people without seatbelts on. They got a whole highlight tape of people just in the air, 70 feet in the air, hitting the ground, flying. I'm talking about 70. The day delay was in the air. She was in the air, almost out of the camera, and hit the ground. It's bad. Now we'll move subject to something else. So I want to talk a little bit about the what I've experienced on campus, and a little bit of this has to do with the mask situation. So I go to speak at the University of Kentucky. I get there, everybody had to have a mask on, and I'm like, what? It's only like 70 people in the room. I said, what do y'all got to wear masks on? So I found out that they had to wear a mask just in my event, which was only 70 people there. They don't have to wear a mask at the UK football game, which is 60, 70 people, 70,000 people there. And I found out they don't have to get vaccinated to go to the game. So you're telling me, bro, that they make people wear a mask in an event of 70 people. They make them wear it outside. You got to wear it in the restaurants. But when you go to a football game, you don't have to wear a mask and you don't have to be vaccinated.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
What
Money.
is going on here, bro?
Money.
You mess with those purse strings, man. Just like Craig was saying, if you got the money in the criminal justice system, you're gonna be all right. They'll charge you on paper, like you were saying. Same thing with this. It's not the money. Damn your health. Damn the mandates. We got to find a gray area because that's a lot of money coming from those games. That's a lot of beer. That's a lot of concessions. That's a lot of tickets. And we are not willing to take that hit, period. Yep. So whatever's going on, whatever loopholes we got to find here and there, mask, whatever, but do not touch that wallet. Do not touch that money. That's it, period. That further lets us know how much BS this is because it's too hit or miss. It's too wear it here, don't wear it there. No. It's too inconsistent because it's just about their interest, which is money. Follow the money.
Young moolah, baby.
Yeah.
Money.
Come on, man. It's about that bread and dead presidents.
Them guys coming to them games, whole season tickets, all that kind of stuff. They're not wearing no mask.
Alumni.
But the football players had to be vaccinated. The football players.
This is all about control and
it's control because
it's
you're gonna be in the same. Everybody's in the same stadium. The players got to get vaccinated, but you got 70,000 in the audience. Everybody's in this place breathing out their cooties and whatnot into the same space, going to get their hot dogs and pretzels and beer and whatnot. And it's fine. They're going to the bathroom. Anybody got no mask. Anybody got no shots because it's too much money. Like the money, like when they had that shutdown, the lockdowns. Oh, these college towns where they depend upon college football were devastated. Devastated. They cannot lose that money. You're talking about billions from 1 year of not being able to play college football. So they ain't giving that money. But you got to put the mask on. You got to get the shot if you're a football player, if you're a student. It's dumb because they know they can control the students because they get money from the federal government to ensure these tuitions or whatnot. But they can't ensure that from the people that are going to come to the games. They can't control them that way. So they just relax the standards for them. It's so stupid.
Yep. So what? Do as I say, not as I do.
That's right.
While half the 70,000 people's yelling, "Let's go, Brandon."
Yeah, love it, man. I love to see that everywhere. And you know what? What do drunk people usually do? They usually get social. They're hanging on each other. They're breathing on each other. What does the quarterback do every time he's about to touch that ball? He licks his hand, touches the ball. Every time, 50 times a game, he licks his hand and touches the ball. Patting the lineman on his skin bridge before he hikes the ball. And then what do they do? That's one of my favorite terms. What do they do with the football when they score a touchdown? They hand it to somebody in the stands. So here's some skin bridge sweat, saliva. Here you go, attendee. They're passing it around. Come on, man, they ain't serious about this garbage.
It's money.
This I think the stadium is 61,000 people can fit in this stadium, and they packed in here like sardines. They start from the parking lot, tailgating, they get into the game, they got to go. It's only like 4 entrances in the stadium. So all these people clustering to go all the way through these entrances. Dude, there's no way that they're not getting exposed in the worst way. And it's funny that they still do it, just like airlines. I think people don't understand how many airplanes are in the sky at one time. There is thousands of planes in the sky at one time. In thousands of planes, there's hundreds of people on all these on a majority of these big major aircraft. So there's hundreds of thousands of people flying in the air right now. They're right now. There's planes up and there's hundreds of thousands of people probably flying in the air. And they ain't gonna slow that down. They gonna pile all y'all. I remember when they were like social distance on the planes. That lasts for 24 hours. They'll pile you on that now. Y'all neck and neck in there.
Yeah.
But it's also oxymoron. Well, you can have a mask down long as you drinking or you eating. Dude, you ain't gonna be able to keep up with it. They're gonna just keep moving the goalposts as long as they can keep making their money.
You know, on Sunday, we had the 40th annual air show out here. There had to be, 75,000 people out there. It was packed. Then on the helicopters, they got the helmets. So all the kids are going up, putting the helmets on their head, acting like they're talking. They're touching the controls. Parents are going over, touch. Oh, this is a cool helmet, touching everything. So and this is California. We got the craziest mandates in place. Matter of fact, tomorrow, the city council or the county supervisors voted that people got to start wearing masks again indoors, even if you're double vaccinated. But anyway, so they got all this crap going on, but it's okay to get that 40th anniversary air show money in with 75,000 people, at least $35 per adult. That's a lot of money that they're missing out on the kids. Mommy, can I have that $10 to go on this game, $10 to go on that ride, the little activities they had? You ain't messing with that money. It's like working for a company. The one thing you can't do is mess with that money. They'll forgive everything else. But when you start playing with that money that they're skimming off the top or whatever the hell they're doing with it, no. Man, what mandates? No, we need to pause that for this event and then maybe pick it up afterwards. It's about that green.
Lollapalooza. Y'all remember that?
Oh, man. Yeah. Come on. Bruh. COVID's the least of your worries in that crowd.
Bruh.
What in the world?
Bruh.
Oh, man.
People can't see this that well. Let me just click on NPR article. But bruh.
Which one is it?
When was that?
This was earlier this year.
Yeah,
I think this is 2019. Let me go to the 2021 one.
Yeah, it was just like that in 2021.
Oh, same thing. Let me find it.
Yeah, same people turned out. It was ridiculous.
You see Lord Lightfoot in the crowd with no mask on, hanging out, taking pictures.
Yeah,
taking selfies. Or Kamala's running up to a bunch of people, happy Bali. She runs up to him, takes the mask off when she gets to the crowd of people.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what's going on here? You mask on where you by yourself in the outdoor space. When you go to the crowd, you take it off.
Bro, let me give you all this. All this old man residue on our face. Come on.
I gotta find this picture because this is the article that the picture was in.
I think it's
a video, but it's on there. Like this is the picture. This is the picture of the event. I'm just trying to find a way to blow it up, but this is the picture of the event. This right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on.
What they say? That's a super spreader.
That's a super duper spreader.
Super duper. Let's see, 19.
Well, it reminds me of the picture that came out in Wuhan when they was out there partying in Wuhan at the height of all this stuff that was going on. I mean, it's like, hold on,
having a phone party, all types of stuff. It's like really. A phone party in China, and they're talking about you got to wear a mask with a Whole Foods. Come on,
bruh. Yeah, if they're having a MTV The Grind phone party where it broke out, I think we'll be all right over here.
That's a trip, man.
So they all kind of stupid. I don't even know how we falling for this. When I'm in the airport right now, I don't wear it. I wear it on the airplane because they make me. But other than that, I don't wear it in the airport. Like it's pointless. I'm in there walking around and people are sitting down eating and they looking at me. I said, I swear, God is my witness. If somebody say something to me, y'all gonna be disappointed in what my response will be. There's gonna be probably some cuss words in there. Like, bro, it's out of control, man. It's out of control what's going on here. And I'm hoping that people wake up. Now, I want to talk about Youngkin. ABL, that's your
BA in the house.
Y'all both from Virginia.
I'm from Virginia.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about this? I'm gonna throw this out here, and people are gonna be mad at me a little bit. I think that there's a new wave of Republican identity, and I honestly believe that Trump should not run in 2024. Although if he run, I'm gonna vote for him. But I don't think he should run, man. I really do think that we need some new blood to where moderate people can be able to find common ground, bro, because for whatever reason, CNN was very successful at demonizing Trump to the point where there's people that hate that man and they can't even explain it.
Yep.
There's probably hundreds of thousands of people that hate him and they can't explain it. I just really wish that somebody like DeSantis would run because I feel like they give us a fresh read.
Leave DeSantis alone right now.
No,
Hey, man,
we need him. Sorry, Craig.
Sorry, Craig. We need
DeSantis alone.
You can find another conservative to be the governor. You can't find another presidential candidate other than Trump, bro. Nobody has name recognition other than DeSantis.
They're gonna do the same thing to DeSantis.
But Trump campaign. But Trump give them Trump. They set a fire. Trump throw a whole can of
man.
gasoline.
He didn't care. He liked that. He liked that.
He give them more ammunition than what, and he's so polarizing, which he needed to be.
Yeah,
Trump was we needed the battering ram. We needed Trump to do what he had to do, and I think that God allowed Trump to be in office during that period of time. It was necessary, and I think God allowed Biden to be in office because it is a great awakening, bro. People can now see that behind Trump's facade, and they was talking all that noise about Trump and how bad he was. Now the people that were talking about him have power. Now you can see what they have to offer.
Yep.
And they don't have nothing to offer. But y'all, let me know what y'all think about the Youngkin. What's your thoughts, ABL? Craig?
All right, now as far as Youngkin, I mean, I think what you're saying is right about Trump needing to be there. And what he did was just kind of open it up for everybody else. So where it's not just all about Trump just being one guy to lead the charge, he could spread it among other people and have them lead the charge wherever they are. That's what it has to be. It's the same thing for Glenn Youngkin. You see, before, a lot of these guys in the GOP, they would run on like kind of generic stuff, lowering taxes, stuff like that, like the Mitt Romney model. That's not really going to work in 2021. You have to get to the people on issues they care about. Okay, critical race theory, you got boys in the bathroom with girls, stuff like that. You got to zero in on that. And since people are kind of aware of it, and they're aware of alternative media, and they're aware of how fake the media is, now they're starting to kind of pay attention. Now the parents are paying attention. Now the parents are going to the school board meetings, and they're going to the school to figure out what's going on. Now they see all of what's happening, and when you're able to tune into that, and you see the other side, they kind of ignore it or kind of excuse it, like Terry McAuliffe tried to do. That right there, that's going to spell disaster. So Youngkin, if you would have asked me 2 months ago if he was going to win, I'd be like, nope, because Virginia, unfortunately, has become a blue state. But now it's going in the other direction because people could see what's going on with the country and with the state, and they're going that way. So it's definitely a good thing that it happened. And also in Jersey, although I think they said Phil Murphy won, it was close.
It was.
New Jersey is not a red state at all. So the fact that it was close like that, I'm talking about a razor thin margin. That right there is sending a message to let people know that the Democratic Party,
the gig is up.
Its time is over. They don't really have a lot. And the Republican Party, what Trump, I put it to you like this: Trump crawled so we all could run.
Right. The guy Jack, I don't know how to say his name, is Cittatelli or Chittatelli or whatever. He flipped a lot of these blue. He flipped. When you say flip, it doesn't just mean that he got more than the Republican. More than the Democrat. The Democrat had like 60-70% vote in the previous election. He had 70% of the vote. Like he was flipping counties, completely blue counties, to being completely red. Like that wasn't a loss for him. No. To me, that was like, okay, in 6 more years or whatever, because in the midterm, though, you got to think about the midterm. There's going to be people in New Jersey voting in the midterm, too. So he was kind of like a preview of the overflow of the midterm. And people who voted for him that wasn't successful are going to be even more eager to vote out these Democrats. They barely missed that one. They're going to vote the other ones out for sure, in my opinion. What do you think, Craig?
Well, going back to VA, you win some, then some, you lose. I mean, it's funny because they're trying to say Glenn played the race card, right? You got the first Hispanic, the first Black, but they do it all the time. I mean, so bad they on their knees with dashiki. I mean, come on, man. So I'm loving her speech, Winsome speech. She's 100% right. We are not in the 1963, and we own our own water fountains, man. So I'm loving everything that they stand for. She's a Marine. She respects our veterans. She's all about law and order. She's about school choice. right? We all know that children educated gives them more opportunity to succeed. So she's about school choice. She's about paying the teachers more, paying the nurses, paying the law enforcement, correctional officers. I think everything that they stand for and what they're going to do is going to be awesome for Virginia. You got to realize this was a 12-year stronghold from the Democrats, and they just took that away. So it is a new wave. I understand what you're saying, Brandon, with the Trump deranged syndrome that they have, orange man bad. But all I'm gonna say, I'm in Florida right now. Leave the scientists alone for right now until we can figure that out. But I got you, man.
Yeah, because I just feel like I would love for DeSantis to stay there, because obviously state rights and powerful red states are invaluable. But it's like, who else has the name recognition other than Trump? And I just feel like Trump
will be a good candidate.
He was the sacrificial lamb, bro, for like, lack of better references. He's a sacrificial lamb for Republicans and conservatives and freedom. But he got sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to understand he's been sacrificed. He's not the president anymore. And also they trying to send everybody to jail that knew him. Like, I mean, I don't even want him to run for his own sake, bro. You think they've impeached him twice. Like, bro, it's not gonna be a good look for us if he does it, because they got so much ammunition. There's never been a president in history that been impeached twice. It just haven't happened. And they're gonna impeach him a third time. And the turmoil of racism and bigotry, and he ain't gonna slow down he gonna be on Getter. He gonna be on his platform talking trash.
He's gonna be
even worse. So you're gonna have 3 phones.
I know, bro. I think that maybe he could still be on the scene. I think it'd be cool for him to still campaign and keep the base going. But I hope that he endorse somebody that can be more neutral visually. Because all the people that I meet that say they voted for Biden, they say, I just hated Trump. Like, I was asking the guy at the smoke shop the other day. I said, at the cigar lounge. I don't like to say smoke shop. That's 2 different things. I'm at the cigar lounge. These 2 dudes are like, I'm Republican, which I'm like, how did you vote for Biden? I just will never vote for Trump. And I'm like, what's the problem? Hold on. Is that me? All of this time, they finally played a commercial. Shut the front door. All this time, I'm waiting. Did y'all hear that commercial playing?
A little bit. It was like
very faint.
Okay, good. Because all this time, the thing is in the background loading, and it finally played. But anyway, I want to show this video of what they were doing, what they were saying about Youngkin. I'm gonna make a video about this tomorrow. And ABL and y'all Jericho, y'all can make one too. I ain't gonna stop you. But this is a highlight tape of these fools in the race hustling that they do, trying to create a situation that's not there. Let me make sure the audio is working. Hold on a second. I'm gonna close it out and then open it back up. Let me see. Hold on.
Oh my goodness!
It's finna be on. Just so for y'all watching, for the 3,000 y'all watching.
Of eyes.
It's finna be y'all
the
finna
race
see this.
Are on full deck,
and y'all finna feel some type of way. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness!
So, without further ado, go ahead and roll it, like ABL. Turn the audio on.
Let's go ahead and roll it.
For a reason.
Okay, let's.
Glenn Youngkin played the race card for a reason, because he knows it works on certain white voters.
He did white grievance politics to mobilize the Republican base.
Just imagine if white people talked about black people like this. Just only if I can only imagine if there was white people just saying this about black people, and how it's crazy to me.
Laundered Trump's really sort of disgusting, flagrant out racism. He's wrapped it in education.
Education,
right,
which is code for white parents don't like the idea of teaching about race.
That's the fundamental problem for these parents and this anti-CRT movement. They don't like the way whiteness is being portrayed in these newborn precepts.
This wasn't about the popular issue.
Oh, it gets worse.
About how white kids feel talking about what black kids go through.
Hold on, let's stop that.
Man, pause it. Pause it.
Like education,
how white kids are hearing about black kids' experience. I have never experienced separate water fountains and all this other stuff that maybe black people went through in the past. I never experienced real racism. I mean, on a level in which it can affect your life. Some little white kid being like, I don't like black people. It has no effect on my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I wish they would talk about black folks like that. I wish they would treat us just like everybody else. Say whatever you want about everybody. Don't treat what's the black experience?
Jericho and his blackness.
It's the American experience. There are differences. A family of black folks might be a little different from a family of white folks, but generally speaking, it's all the same. There's no separate experience. But if they have their way, there will be a separate experience.
Jericho, you need to tone your blackness down. Your black rage is
I can't
radiation. You and your black privilege, tone it down. It's crazy how they get away with the stuff that they say, man. It's wild to me. I mean, I'm constantly pointing it out. I'm like, man, that's a hypocrisy. They make movies like Karen. And I said, well, what if a white director made one that said it was Shaquisha? You know what I mean? So it's like, I know that they would be lit. I know they would be mad. You know what I mean? So it's the stuff they get away with, what they say is crazy to me, man.
But you know what? They speak to the kind of suburbanite in the area where there's nobody black at. So they're trying to tell you what's going on in the black area, but they live in the suburban areas too. They just say stuff like this, and a lot of it just make up. Has no basis in reality at all. And then they say, hey, you know what? If your parents are mad about us just making up stuff, then they're racist. It's stupid. But that's part of the whole grift.
They make it up, bro. They make up
freeze frame. That freeze frame of that dude's face is perfect.
Yes.
That's what they all look like right there. Like they're all weak and soft and they're about to cry. That's every man on CNN right there.
Dude, they make up stuff, y'all. I just want people to understand they make up stuff. People be lying about racist experiences. They don't. It's not real.
It's a collective lie.
They make up stuff. They go, oh man, white. Because listen, bro. I learned a lot being a police officer, man. I say that every time I say. I learned a lot, bro, and I learned bull crap when I see it. And I interview people all the time, and everybody lied to you. So you get used to seeing lies versus truth. And I can tell right away, most of these people make up the same similar scenario of racial injustice, and they just lying. They don't have that experience. Black people are not experiencing these things on a consistent basis. I mean, I don't think so.
It's an anomaly.
It's rare, dude. I never had a white person walk up to me and say,
it's a collective lie.
I've never had that happen to me. I had it happen when I was a cop, but I don't know if he was racist or he was trying to get at me because he was, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a cop and I'm black, so he want to say something that hurt me.
And even if there is racism, even if it is racism, where is that on the actual chart of problems that black folks have? Where is that? Like hypertension, diabetes, other black folks, crack, heroin, AIDS. Where is that on the problems list?
It ain't there, bro. It won't make the top 100. I've never woke up and be like, oh man, I got to deal with racist people today. Right. Bro, I go anywhere, go to Starbucks. They treat you like anybody else. Hey, sir, how you like your latte? I never have any problem. Go to a store, sir. How can I help you? I'm flying on the airplane, sir. Would you like to have water with that? I mean, I've never experienced a conglomerate effort by white people to disenfranchise me or make me feel disenfranchised or anything. It's not real, bro. And I grew up in Texas. I fly all over the country. I was just in Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? People say Kentucky should be racist. I was in Kentucky. I was in Atlanta. I was in Louisiana just recently, in New Orleans. Like, bro, I've been all around the country. I've never had any negative thing with white people anywhere, ever. It's crazy to me.
It's ridiculous. And who would allow that in this day and age? Who would allow a system like that to exist after the civil rights movement, after we are pretty much made equal in the eyes of the law? Who would allow that to take place? Who would allow somebody to treat them like that or discriminate against them? Nobody would do that crap. But it doesn't exist, so they have to make these things up. That's why they're so silly and ridiculous, like most things when people make up a lie. It's ridiculous, and it sounds weird to those who don't believe that lie. And who is it? That ex-football player, Ryan Clark, was it last year or something? He was on TV crying because allegedly some lady called his son the N-word at a drive-through. Like, you're two people removed from the situation and you're crying? Like, that's how good our life is. That's how nice we have it, that something like that would bring someone to tears. You got people in other countries dealing with real problems and real racism who would beg for their worst problem to be a secondhand experience with something that might have happened. Stop.
We all know it's a collective lie, and they continue to keep it going. I call it psychosomosis. It's there. They make it up in their head. They got to battle with their own biases within themselves. Period. You didn't get the job, you can't automatically revert to they're racist. You don't know why you didn't get the job. You don't know if you met their qualifications. You don't know what the other person's credentials or experience was, but they automatically just opt straight to, oh, it's something's racist. Something is this. It's got to be something. And it's crazy to me. It drives me absolutely insane. I have a deep disdain for people that continue to do that. So I call it psychosomosis. People want to keep the collective lie going. That's why I say the black collective lie. And that's exactly what it is.
It is, man. It's sad, though, that somebody asked me at the event, they were like, how do you feel about sports and this social justice, war, entertainment? It's just like, it's sad, man. It's sad that in today's world that black people fall for this. Like, because
Meek Mills.
Meek Mill's on the airplane. Like, it's like, bruh, like, I just don't understand why it's, I'm understanding a little more with Thomas Sowell's book called Black Redneck and White Liberal.
Yeah.
He kind of explains how this cultural dynamic stemmed from white people who came from Europe, this redneck mentality, and like black people adopted it through living in the South and being exposed through slavery and then Jim Crow and all that, and that a lot of them have not gotten away from it. That means promiscuity. It's dancing and all this other stuff that black people do very, very well as well. All of that kind of stems from it. And it's crazy to me, bro. Like, I don't understand why you smoke weed and you already done been on probation, parole, and all this other stuff, bro. You already got busted driving a motorcycle. You already should have did 7 years, but that black judge let you off and then you snitched on her. You already got this. You smoke all this weed. Y'all hotboxing in the car. You get on the plane and y'all smell like blunts. And the dude just say, "Are somebody smoking?"
Oh, you acting racist. Man, you acting racist. We don't feel safe on this plane. I know.
It's ridiculous.
You on a private jet, bro. They not on Spirit Airlines. They're on a private jet.
That goes back to the whole thing about just common decency, things you're supposed to know how to do that you should know. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm about to go on a private jet with other people. Maybe I shouldn't smoke weed in a car and then smell like weed on a jet. All right, just maybe. Okay, if I'm going to my kid's school to pick them up, maybe I shouldn't be number one in my pajamas, but number two, smelling like weed in the principal's office coming to get my 8-year-old, maybe.
Crazy.
Bruh, if I rule the world, top of my list is people that come out in public with pajamas.
Oh, man.
Nobody's life is that fast paced where you don't have time to put some pants on before you leave the house. That speaks to your character. I hate when people come out in public in their pajama bottoms. That is disgusting. That is truly disgusting. But people like Meek Mills, it makes us look weak. What are you doing? Man up, stand up. Excuse me, Pi, let me talk to you for a second. Hey, we're smoking on the way here. Nobody's smoking weed. I apologize for any inconvenience. Because forgive this man who's about to take you up in an airplane for inquiring if anybody's doing drugs in his aircraft. You stop to think that maybe he can get in trouble for that too?
Yeah. I mean,
if he thinks somebody's smoking, you think he wants a second hand while he's flying at 300 miles an hour?
Exactly.
Be a man, be a respectful member of society, and handle that professionally. Don't be an idiot. Don't act all ish. What are you doing?
Let's not forget.
Doing? I would be embarrassed for my father to see that footage of me acting like that. What is wrong with you? Are you a 15-year-old girl?
These pilots, they have been briefed. These pilots can get in trouble too. Let's don't play like we don't know that these rappers, Juice WRLD, the one that pretty much OD'd, that had pounds of weed, marijuana on the plane.
On the plane.
So let's don't act like we just forgotten that we don't know these rappers and them as doing deals and moving narcotics and etc. whatnot through these jets. This pilot's probably looking out for his own safety and his own good. Like, man, I ain't about to go down because of y'all ignorant fools. And then what drives me the craziest with Meek Mills, Soon as he get in trouble, violates a probation, all of a sudden now he wants to be a social justice, Martin Luther King Jr. out there talking about he's for the people. And then in the next note, he's degrading women on his album cover. Man, dude, you cannot make this. If I had one of Brandon Tatum's look, I would be pressing it right now because I'm telling you, you can't make this up, man.
It's crazy the disingenuous nature of African American men is out of control. And I know it's not all, but it's a good number of celebrity types that are just so disingenuous. What does racism have to do with it? You could have gotten 2 black pilots if you wanted to, because when you fly private and you got that much money, you can get pilots, you can hire them to fly a jet that you either charter or you own. And so you don't have to use the random white people. You can use brothers. But you know what? Black folks ain't going to get another brother to fly them. They ain't going to support another black man. They'll let the white man do it and then complain about racism. And that's all I'm saying, because I know for a fact you can get pilots. There's some black pilots that are out there. I'm pretty sure there's a black pilot association that you can go to and say, hey, I want these pilots to fly me. There ain't a lot of black pilots. Since I've been flying, and I fly all the time, I've only seen like 3 black pilots, and I want to take a picture with them because I was proud of them for doing something else outside of the box. You know, other basketball and football, like we can be pilots too. I wish that more black people would be pilots, you know what I'm saying, and do something different.
What would they call those black pilots if the same scenario played out? If that black pilot, hey, you guys smoking weed, what's he going to call him?
Oh, you Uncle Tom.
Exactly.
Not to the white man.
You Uncle Tom.
Exactly.
They want to fight him because they don't respect him. They want to cry with the white man, but then fight the black man.
Yeah, they probably jumped that fool in the aisle of the airplane.
They would have beat the man down.
Yep.
Beat the man down.
Because they do it to each other.
So sad.
They do it to each other. I just was on an airplane, listened to this rapper. He got charged with 2 counts of a double murder. I forget his name. He was a rapper. He was a popular rapper or whatever. 2 murdered. So what he did was 2 of his homies that was in the gang with him, I guess they were ex-homies, set him up, gunned him down in the car, got in the car with his co-defendant, rode around and tried to make up a story, then later took him to the hospital and said they were involved in the drive-by. He killed those 2 dudes. I forget his name.
Was it Y&W Melly?
Huh?
Was it Y&W Melly?
I think that's what. Yeah, that's it.
Bro, you do another black man.
And he had that
like
song. I ain't gonna
on my
start
mind.
lullaby. Yeah, on my mind. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you hit on it now.
He had a song. He had a song confessing to it.
He pretty much made a song confession to it.
And it was a hit song.
It was a hit song, and one of my sons came in here, humming and singing this. I said, "What, boy? How you know about that song?" Watching something on YouTube. I said, God, boy.
Oh, YouTube. Man, don't get me started.
Don't expose my kids. Look, everybody knows I refer to these rappers and their music as suicidal poetry with good beats. And that's exactly what it is. It ain't nothing but some suicidal poetry on a good beat. It's degrading women. It's about drugs. It's about gang banging thugs and killing people. And the first thing I hear, the Black Collective group think, the first rebuttal, heavy metal. Man, look, man, heavy metal might be talking about some crazy stuff, but right now we're talking about y'all's hip hop and rap that has a clear influence, and these people are relating to that. They're not listening to heavy metal. I don't see nobody in heavy metal causing people to go do some drive-by.
No.
So it's
yeah, they talk about Marilyn Manson, bro. These trap music probably got more people killed than Marilyn Manson could ever think about.
And it's nothing new. I grew up in the 90s, the early 2000s and all that. I've lived through Too Short, 2 Live Crew, Brother Lynch hung.
I mean, some of
the craziest stuff you ever heard. But the difference was my mama wasn't sitting there rapping the lyrics. My mama wasn't bumping it on the stereo. It was a clear understanding that if my brother and I were caught listening to rap music within the confines of our residence, there would be strict penalties handed down swiftly. I used to listen by the door. My brother would have it low. It was like Anne Frank. He'd be listening like this as a speaker, and I'd be at the door playing Lookout because we knew. So these temptations have always existed, but it's never been so accepted. This is crazy. Kids have to know that this is garbage and you should not be listening to it. Now, if they go out and do it, that's one thing, but they need to know that. But if mom is sitting there and she got the album before you do, what are you going to do? You're doomed from the beginning.
It's so out of control. Brandon posted the video on it. The mayor's literally doing an interview, and they do a shooting during the
that was
interview.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then she talks about, oh, me and my kids go to bed to these lullabies every night. Dude, it's out of control, dog.
You see that she said me and my child, not my family. That boy ain't got no daddy. That's why you doing lullabies to gun violence, and you the mayor, because he ain't got no daddy. It was a song "Murder on My Mind." Was that the song?
I got murder on my mind, something like that.
Let me see what this sound like.
But if you got a mayoral paycheck coming in, why do you still live in an area like that? Forget about that's what she said.
If you listen to her, she at the end she said at a distance. She threw at a distance in there because she probably made it up, but that's a talking point because she went on to say, and I'm the only mayor that lived
born in 20 years.
Stay here.
She went to a talking point during the campaign or something.
Why would you live in an area like that? You have the money to get out. You're the mayor. Why would you live in an area like that with your child? And in those areas, your child he could be a victim.
And
he's almost guaranteed to be a victim.
And the question is, if you're the mayor, like, what have you accomplished in your life, or not accomplished that still has you living in this area? Like, what have you accomplished yourself?
Why do they not fear the law so much that they're busting caps by the mayor's house? That's how much they don't care.
Outside, broad daylight, whatever, it's fine.
Broad daylight. Bow, 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 bow. I was like, maybe it was something else, and they just thought.
Can you play that video?
And those gunshots were close. Those gunshots were real close.
People need to see that, man. That stuff was epic. I said, what?
Let's see if I can just get the regular video. Let's
just
see.
Like Mayor London Breed.
She said, oh, this is normal.
It was almost like down close. Get on the ground right now. Don't get shot.
She just like Mayor London Breed when she was touring San Francisco, and that dude's loading up a needle right there on top of the newspaper dispenser. Come on, that's the mayor. At least turn around and hide it.
She was like this when he was like this.
Yeah.
Right in his eyes, broad daylight on camera.
He was about to ask her He was about to ask her to tie him off real quick. He's like, hey, Mayor, can you get this for me?
Can you give me a hand? Can you give me a hand real quick?
Hold that spoon, girl.
Yeah.
Bro, that's wild.
She was like, hurry up. I got to get to the Tony show.
That's wild.
Oh, my goodness.
Bro, I'm going to play that clip.
Let me tell y'all, man, for watching, the people that's watching, if you ain't seen it, this stuff is crazy.
It's sad, man. I would have been ducking.
In the middle of man, I'd have been ducking. I've been on the floor.
Yeah.
Man, what?
She was like, oh, that was just a 380. I'm not scared.
Yeah. I know the
just a little 380.
It almost reminds me of when they was doing the George Floyd memorial thing, and they did the whole shooting out there, and people like, that was a setup.
Right on cue.
It's a little bit of me talking, so excuse me running my mouth, but in the video is going to be heard. Tell me you're a worthless mayor without telling me you're a worthless mayor. Tell me you are a crappy mayor without telling me you're a crappy mayor.
I did hear today from Brother L and Cure Violence is that.
Ooh, that's close.
She just do this.
It's like,
I would have been. She just
charge. Get on the ground. Don't get shot.
Listen to her.
Do you feel safe standing here right now?
Well, I hear gunshots in my neighborhood every night. My son and I fall asleep to the lullaby of gunshots.
My son and I.
The lullaby of gunshots every night.
My son and I.
Every night? You okay with that?
Single parent home, man.
And she is the mayor of that city where lullabies of people falling asleep to gunshot lullabies.
Why is she okay with that?
You can't make this up, bro. I mean, because this is what they do. They in office just to be a placeholder. They ain't doing nothing in there. They're not accomplishing anything.
That doesn't make sense to me, man. If I got a bank account I looked it up. She makes over $100,000 a year. And in St. Louis, I imagine that's going to go pretty far. I imagine they're a cheaper housing market than out here in California. So why would you stay in that neighborhood to keep it real? What are you doing? She's the leader. She's the one who's supposed to lead these people to a better place, to a better life. And she's like, oh, that was nice.
Man,
my son and I, we become accustomed to it. We can't fall asleep without somebody dumping in the air. Like, come on, man.
Let me tell you, man, St. Louis is off the chain. Shout out to DJ with First Form. I went out there on Andy's show, and DJ drove me around the neighborhoods, the bad section in St. Louis. It is off the chain to see that people are living like this in America. It is wild. There's sections where the police can't even go in the neighborhood or they'll be shooting at the police, man.
That's crazy.
St. Louis is wild, man.
I want to check out this Molly video. What is his name? Millie. YNW Millie.
YWN Millie or something like that.
Or whatever it is. Well, the official video says YNW Millie. I just want to hear a little bit of this because, and viewer discretion, if you got your kids watching, I don't know what this fool finna say. So if you scared of cussing or whatever, I just want to hear a little bit of it so I can just get a glimpse, because I don't really listen to rap music like that. So
He's saying he got murder on his mind.
Let me put this in.
This suicidal poetry with good beats right here.
Where's that boy's hair purple?
They gonna ban me with this. But this video got 470 something million views on YouTube, monetized because the ad just came up. So they better not ban me when they got the thing playing with ads on it. I just want a little bit. Okay, I mean, come on, get to the rap.
Even give her no kisses. Can't even post on my Instagram. Could he pussy nigga be snitching?
Oh, Lord, see?
Right away.
On in my chest, yeah, like tend to get in my feelings. And all I smoke is that loud. Don't
I'm a dope fiend.
And I'm a smoke
killer.
all of my pain away, cause that's the only thing that gon' heal it. I don't
Coping with drugs. He's talking about coping with drugs.
Go around pretending as if they really fought with me. So I love them all from a distance.
I can't understand how.
I
can't.
This is destructive culture.
I can't.
How can they talk about? How can they talk about heavy metal and Marilyn Manson? That's just as satanic as any heavy metal song. It looks like a ritual.
That's their first rebuttal. Oh, heavy metal. Man, we know this is wrong, but you keep defending this.
But see, the thing about it is this guy is in prison for killing people. Like right now, as we speak, in prison.
Two black people.
This song helped him put himself in prison.
Right. This is not just so-called art. This is real. He didn't kill people. He's in prison for it now, right now, in real life.
This song is you can't
murder
make this,
on my mind.
Y'all gotta understand.
You can't make this.
You gotta understand, bro. There's a lot more black men that do this than people know that live in this lifestyle. You know, I almost got caught up in it. You know, I used to have gold teeth and stuff trying to be like this, but I wasn't out there like this because I had a daddy. You know, I could only go so far and get tattoos where I could cover them up and stuff, and I get the bottom gold teeth that I could pull out. You know what I'm saying? Some of these dudes getting permed.
Look, man,
and
I lived this life.
Look at these words on here, bro.
This is an empty lifestyle, man. I'm telling you right now. I live this life. Look, people need to take responsibility. It's going to be one of these three, or all three: your ignorance, your laziness, or in your decision making. When I was living this lifestyle, I was lazy. I was ignorant as hell. Excuse my language. And I made dumb decisions, and it led me into prison. And I'm telling you, I had to keep looking over my back every day. I'm telling you, it's a stressful lifestyle. I'm so glad that I put this behind me. And literally, it is for the grace of God. I've been in drive-bys. I've been shot at. I've been stabbed in my back. This is not no way to live, man. And if I'm honest, when I was young, that rap music had an influence on me.
Mm-hmm.
It did. I was listening to Tupac when we ride on our enemies, going to look for people. So I know this stuff influences us, man. That's why I go so hard on it. But the only rebuttal that they can give me is, oh, heavy metal. But man, heavy metal ain't doing this.
Show me a white Chicago. Show me a white community where people are gunning each other down like this.
You know what?
Where is it?
In this scene right here of, you know, the boy dead and the other one holding them, that's so common. It's too common. You know, a lot of these young boys out here thugging and drugging. If you live to be 25, you lucky. A lot of these boys is dead by 16, 17. Dead.
Yeah. And he
did. Like he killed people and then he dead because his life is gone. He in prison. He's gonna be in prison for the rest of his life.
Yep.
You know, and people like him, man. He famous. You gotta understand. This ain't no just what do they call it? Mixtape dude. This dude is pretty famous.
How many views was on that video?
470 million views.
I mean,
on this video.
We see images.
My son he was 7 years old humming this. I said, what? So don't tell me this stuff don't influence. He don't even know what he humming to. He humming to some suicidal poetry, man.
3 million people like this.
If we see an image like this, you change the scenery, you put, a hijab on one of those people. This is a war zone in another country. We look at images like this after they bomb some market where the parents are holding their kids covered in dust and blood. Mm-hmm. Same thing. These are war zones, man. This has an effect on those kids. Those kids standing there with blood all over them, watching this dude bleed out, hearing all the sounds of death and sorrow. That has an effect on those kids, man. Look at that. And why is that little boy's hair maroon? Anyway, that has an effect on those kids, man. You're desensitizing them to violence. You're setting them up. You're setting them up to do what they're staring at.
Look, y'all, I seen a video where Kanye West, I don't know where he was, but he was talking to a group of a large audience of, I don't know if it was college students or what. And one boy, black boy, came up and got on the mic. He said, I'm gonna get emotional. So I'm gonna let y'all know. He got to talking. He was out of Chicago. And he was breaking it down that he's the only one, he just trying to make it out, that he had 2 friends that was killed, that every night him and his family got to pretty much duck down to eat dinner and to go to sleep so they don't get hit with a stray bullet. And he's afraid that he might not make it out, he's next, that he just want to make it out. And then when he asked Kanye West for advice, Kanye said, I'm speechless. This is happening in America, people. And people just, all they can do is make rebuttals and excuses and say, oh, this is proximity. This is just proximity. That's sad, man. It's sad that people try to defend this and say, oh, well, heavy metal and this. It's a collective lie, and you ain't doing nothing but destroying and further aiding the destruction of your own communities, man.
Hey, you know what? Here's one more. A lot of these mass shootings happen, and they get reported a lot on the news. If it's, and they say a mass shooting is four people get shot at once, 4 or more to get shot. They may not all die, but if 4 or more get shot at once, it's a mass shooting. But this is all the time in the black community. There was a story in Norfolk the other day, yesterday. 5 women got shot by a 19-year-old black male, all black women. 3 of them died. This is in Youngs Park, Norfolk. Nobody's going to talk about that. It won't be on the news, but if it was a different race, different place, and then the news could kind of like play that up and be, oh, this is a mass shooting, white terrorist suspect, but they won't touch that story in Young Park where 3 black women died, 5 got shot by 1 black male. Won't cover it.
That's crazy, man.
No, it's disgusting, man.
It's crazy, bro, because like when you don't if you've never been around this environment, and you like just listen to it on music, you think it's all a facade. You get what I'm saying? That's why I think a lot of people who are live in suburbs and they buy this music and they like the beat and they like, yeah, I got murder on my. They sing along to it because it's not real life to them. It's a facade. It's just rhymes. These boys that live in this hood, people that grew up like this is not a game. This is real life. This kid is a lost soul, bro. He don't have a heart. Think about it. And he can't be number 20 something. He don't have a heart. He killed 2 other people that was his homeboys. This ain't even like some rival gang stuff. This was some dudes I was watching close to him. They was his homeboys, and he set them up, and him and another dude killed him. And Brandon, he rolled around in the car with them dead.
They're numb to it. They're numb to it, Brandon.
They out of control. They more numb than police officers, bro. I'm still kind of traumatized a little bit of some dead people that I've seen shot up and stuff. I couldn't drive around in a car with somebody and it not hunt me. Driving around in a car with some dudes you killed and it not hunt you. And then I guess they drove around and they dropped them at the hospital.
Check this out, Brandon. So we know law enforcement, they suffer from post-traumatic stress, depending on, what their experience was when they were out on the job, right? They suffer from post-traumatic stress. I read a study once that correctional officers suffer almost, if not more, post-traumatic stress as a veteran that went off to war, right? Which was a crazy comparison to me. So all I could think to myself, well, if the police officers have post-traumatic stress from dealing with these communities and every day dealing with the public, correctional officers have post-traumatic stress at high level. I can only imagine what the inmates, the offenders that's locked up, coming from these communities high in drugs, abusive, violence, you name it, the post-traumatic stress that these people have just living in these types of neighborhoods. While everybody's lullabying and bouncing to this music, this suicidal poetry with good beat, these people are actually living this. And it looks like just a rap video, and some people can say, oh, you know, this ain't my reality, but these are people's reality here in America.
Animals, dude. These dudes, these young boys are animals, bro. Soulless.
So they numb to it. My whole point is they numb to it. They are numb to this stuff, man.
I saw this it was a study, and they interviewed 1,000 children from America, from around the world. And ones from America, I think they were from Baltimore and like Chicago. And then the other kids were from Europe. Some were from war-torn countries in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. This collection of kids around the world. And they interviewed them and talked to them about the positivity of or how positive was their outlook on their life. And they were children in war-torn countries we've heard thousands of times on the news and, you know, CNN and embedded reporters and all that, you know, the pop, 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 the missiles going over their heads and everything. The kids in America and Baltimore and major cities had a more negative outlook on life and their future than children in war-torn countries. And I was that kid growing up. I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up in like a rural town in California, but I didn't come from that environment. I was the one listening to that music and almost glamorizing it. Man, these fools are gonna ride on our enemies. I remember they had these Crips and Blood CDs, and the Crips CD was blue, the Blood CD was red, and you know, vice versa. The Crips are rapping about killing the Bloods are rapping about killing the Crips. So because, like you were saying, B. Tatum, because you're not living it, there's a detachment, and you almost romanticize it in your mind. And I remember watching Menace to Society for the first time, and seeing that scene where he shot the store owner when they're watching the surveillance tape, and you could see the back of the dude's head fly out, and then they shoot his cousin, and the dude he literally blows this dude's brains on the windshield, hops in the car, wipes it off with his shirt, and takes off in the dude's car, not even tripping that he's wiping some dude's brains off the window. Just that callousness and that no regard for life. He just carjacked this dude. The dude didn't do anything to him. I like that car. I'm willing to put a hole in your head for that car. And seeing that for the first time, I was like it was just savage. It was savage. Like the crackhead, he shot that dude for no reason. And for this dude at 18 years old to already have a body count, that just blew my mind, man. It really did. I couldn't believe that that's the life these people were living in, and that romanticizing that was done after I saw that. That really stuck with me, and it was just a movie.
It was insane, bro. I think people don't grasp this. These young men have become animals out here, bro. Like this fool is not even really one of the worst. Like
not at all.
This kid that we talking about killed 2 people. They got dudes out here killed 10, 15 people. Mm-hmm. And like dudes that are just the gang wars back and forth, and like you were saying, you think the police officers are probably scared of these dudes too. Like, you know, they go, oh man, the police scared. I mean, they don't even care about killing kids. They don't care about killing themselves. They definitely don't care about no white police officers. So yeah, I bet the police are afraid of them because they're not human beings. Like, I mean, I know they're human beings, but you get what I'm saying? They've gone to a point of sensitivity or desensitization or whatever, however you say it, to the point where they don't have a conscience. Like they'll kill their own friend over an argument or over the
smallest thing over literally nothing.
Dude getting shot up on IG like it ain't nothing, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and like you were saying, Craig, the PTSD that police officers and correctional officers deal with, and I would even say first responders. I'm sure some of the situations they roll up on where they can't even go in there until the police show up. But those people have resources. They have mental health specialists who will come in. They can talk to. They got psychiatrists. They're encouraged to go see these people and talk up their problems. But what about these kids? Not only do they not have resources, mental health and mental stability is shunned. We don't talk about that. So these kids are living these images. They're watching people OD. They're watching people dead. Another hood movie, Boys in the Hood. You want to see a dead body? You walk into school, you see dead bodies, the drugs, people getting beat down. That is imprinted in your mind. And those kids You see people getting stomped out 3 times a week. You ain't gonna think nothing about stomping somebody out. Somebody says something wrong instead of getting in a fight. I don't see a problem with shooting that kid. I'll shoot him for his shoes. I'll shoot him for his jacket. I'll shoot him because somebody told me to shoot him. And coming from the total opposite of that environment, that is just, and especially all of us sitting here as adults, it's just mind-blowing how you can just snuff somebody out. Like in my world, for me to do that, there has to be a personal threat to me or those that I care about. If that's the case, we do what we got to do. But because you said something to me on IG or I like your shoes, I'm not going to take your life. That don't even enter my frame of thought. But for these kids with no resources, they just got to keep shoving it down. Man, that's scary. That's real scary.
I want to make sure people can distinguish the PTSD that we're talking about. That these young boys and men probably suffer from, which we know they do. That they don't have the resources to have mental health experts work with them. It ain't from no white supremacy or no racism or some systemic racism. This is self-inflicted, destructive culture, and it ain't just the music. It's a lot of different things. It goes into what people value as a culture, right? Each person in America if we dissect the groups, compartmentalize people, they value different things and they're raised differently. And it's showing that we got a lot of work, a lot of groundwork to go back to. But they continue to say, oh, well, we have post-traumatic stress from slavery, but that's not true. If we go before the civil rights movement, we were intact. We had self-respect for each other. We was jumping the broom. We was getting married. We had nuclear families. People was going to work. We respected the woman. We knew what hard work was. We knew strict parenting. We knew before we take that girl out, we got to meet the parents. Like we had the value systems. We knew having our own. So it drives me nuts when they say, oh, well, the reason why they like that and they acting like that is because they got post-traumatic stress from slavery. No, you don't. I'm 37-something years old. Well, I'm 37 on this earth. And I don't have no post-traumatic stress from no slavery, man. I just was lazy at one point in my life. I made poor decisions and I was ignorant. And once people can take the responsibility and recognize and understand it, then we can start moving the groundwork. Instead of telling people like us, we Uncle Toms, for pointing out what we know we need to reform, what we need to have a complete revolution on when it comes to our culture. It's sad, and I don't even know where to begin, man.
The same people that's calling us Uncle Toms are starting organizations for violence in the inner city. It's like you just started an organization about the same thing I talk about every day. Why are you trying to say that I shouldn't be saying I'm wrong when you technically supposed to be starting an organization to combat the things that you hear me talk about? But you don't want to acknowledge when I say it, but you start an organization because you know there's a need there. You know and I don't know if the organization will accomplish anything because they're super SJW. They don't want to hold anybody accountable.
Brandon, in St. Pete, the event that we just had, right, in St. Pete, literally a couple days before, I want to even say a day before, they had a Stop the Violence right here in St. Pete in Florida. They had a Stop the Violence event where they set up a ring and they had people go out there and it was boxing. Do you know at the Stop the Violence event, 4 people got shot, 1 got killed? I mean, man, you can't make this. You can't make it up, man. You can't.
Just like MLK. Anything MLK, it's the most violence you've ever seen.
Show me where a predominant white neighborhood they doing it, or they even have to have a Stop the Violence anything in a white neighborhood, or let alone a Hispanic neighborhood. Where?
Dude, I worked the poor white neighborhood because it was more a poor white Hispanic than black in the where I worked at in Arizona, because there's only 5% black here. There's a majority of Hispanic. So I worked in the poor area. There was a difference, bruh, between violence in the black areas and violence in the white poor areas. There were still people without daddies. There was still molestation going on. There were still things like that. The only difference was gang violence. It wasn't no white trailer park gangs. It was a bunch of people doing the same stupid stuff that poor people do. When you go to the black side, in the Hispanic, you had gang violence. So you had senseless murders. It wasn't just domestic violence. It was murders, gang-related, robberies through gang-related, drug dealing. You had way more of that in the inner cities that were black and brown than you did in these other areas. So, bro, it's not just poverty because there's more white people who are poor. yet black people, black men mostly, commit over half of the murders in this country and over all violent crimes. Black men don't make up nothing but probably 6% of the population.
6%.
And that's every black man. That's every black man is 6%. And you break that down with children and people like us that they ain't out there killing people. You're looking at maybe 3%. And that's even a gross exaggeration. That's you saying half of black men are murderers. Half of black men are committing crimes. I don't think that's the case. I would argue probably 2%.
And that's
of
scary.
the people who are doing this.
Yeah, that's real scary.
Half of the murders.
Now that you're breaking
2%.
it down like that, I'm like, man, 2%, maybe even 1.5.
It's low because you're talking about between like 20 and 35, like really between 15 and 35. That age group in black men, that's the people that's doing it, and it's a small fraction, but they commit so much, and it's among each other the most out of everybody.
Right. The people that are killed most in homicide are black men. So
victims and the murderers.
You know, most of the murders, not all of them, but I'm saying over half of our murders committed and all half of murder victims are black people.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like white supremacy and all this stuff that they push. It makes me feel that they really don't care.
They don't.
They're
not going to.
Don't care.
It's called,
if you cared, you wouldn't lie like that. You wouldn't say white supremacy. I mean, you know it's like the truth. You go in these black neighborhoods, ain't nobody right there. Okay. And at a certain point, it's like, how are you going to blame an invisible man for what you're doing to yourself, for your own negative culture? Okay, you killed that man for something Jordan's in the club. He then took your girl and you mad at him because he took your girl. Or he called you a name and you want to attack him. You got a rival gang going on. How are you going to blame the white man for that? It's stupid.
I got a cousin in Baltimore. He told me he never had a white friend until he graduated high school.
Yeah.
So how are you running into all these crazy racist white people? We can say the same thing for white people. What percentage of white people are racist? Well, it's probably a tiny little group in between this age and this age. So you're telling me you ran into that many of that tiny little group in your predominantly black city? That don't make any damn sense. And to echo your point, B. Tatum, poverty does not equal crime. Poverty does not give you the right to sell dope and shoot people. I hate when they say, well, there ain't no jobs. I gotta sell crack. Like that Biggie song where it says, I was just trying to hustle, sell some crack to feed my daughter. Like there was no other employment opportunities out there. That's the bigotry of low expectations. There is no way in the world they would excuse any other race for pulling some crap like that. And with drug dealing comes that lifestyle. That's the problem, the violence that it brings along. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you can go out there and break the law. It just means you probably need to get more than one job, but you don't need to be out there committing crimes, hurting and killing people because you can't afford food. That is ridiculous. There are plenty of poor areas of different colors of people where they don't have the murder rate. It's because we have no value of life. Now, how can we sit here and talk about they don't care and they don't care and they don't like me? We don't care. We don't like us. So how in the hell are you supposed to expect somebody outside of your group to care about you and you don't?
How you expect them to respect you? You don't even respect yourself.
That's like
that's something else. Jericho, that's something else that drives me insane too. They say, oh, it's because of poverty. So you're saying everybody in poverty commits crimes? Everybody in poverty does violent crime? It's not true. It's not true at all.
It's ridiculous.
There's people that are poor that do not commit crimes. You know why? Because they have a moral compass. It's called morality. It's called personal responsibility. Not everybody that's poor commits a crime.
Yeah. And it's like somebody trying to sell you something. If you don't believe in your product, how do you expect me to believe in your product? If you don't care about yourself, how the hell do you expect me? You don't care about you. I'm not even you, and you expect me to care about you. That is absolutely ridiculous. Poverty does not equal carte blanche to destroy your neighborhood.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, even when I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar High School in Fort Worth, it was in the hood, and like not everybody there was into that hood life. You know, some people wanted a way out, and not everybody had a great parents that wanted a way out. Not everybody that had great parents were doing good in school. It was like some people had bad parents and they still tried to do their best at school. You know, parents are a big part of it, but like it all comes down to decision making, man. And it's just crazy to me that we overlook these things, and these terrorists grow up in our own country and they're violent and nobody want to say nothing about it. They point the finger at everything else. You know, I was talking to somebody about this, and I'm like, They were like, do you know why they won't fix the black on black violence? You know why? He said, which is harder? You got a table and you got a little mark on it from a pen. Which is harder for you to erase that mark or replace the whole table? It's like, oh yeah, somebody will just try to wipe over that mark instead of replacing the whole table. And that's what this inner city violence is. It's like replacing the table. It's going to take decades, and it's going to take hard work, and it's going to take opportunities and loving on these kids and giving them mental health facility, putting money in the community. It's going to take black men staying at home with their kids. It's going to take generations for this stuff to change fully. And it's easy to just point the finger at white people. It's not easy to go and actually do some of this stuff. And like I want to do more mentoring to young men. You know, I ain't gonna lie, dude. There's a part of me that's afraid of some of these areas. Like people clown me. People may clown me all the time.
I'm afraid.
It's like I grew up in this, and these people, some of these young boys, that you might get caught up in something. You just be out there. I'd rather do something outside of the community, have them come to me.
Yeah,
because,
you know what?
Well, yeah.
My dad tried to be a mentor. He was like, don't do it, because your heart's in the right place. Your heart's in the right place. You're going to do the right thing, but you really can't change things. Like if you have something where you got, like, let's say you got some kind of resource center, some kind of place where kids can go if they want to, I don't know, just get off the street. That's one thing. But if you're trying to be in that kid's life and trying to change stuff, it could be very hard. It's kind of like being a stepdad to a certain extent, but you're not stepdad. You're not even in the house at all. It could be very difficult to do that. So my dad was like, yo, you know what? Don't. If you want to, that's fine, but it doesn't really always go the way you say that, way you think it's going to go.
Yeah, my stepmom was a school teacher in the inner city for 20 years, man. And the same soup warmed over, man. Parents don't show up to do nothing for their kids. Their kids out here acting a nut year after year. Some of her kids in prison. And she was like the only light they had. But, you know, when they go home or they go to another grade, you know, she can't do, she can't be at their house. She would go to their house. She would go to some of these kids' house, and mama be getting mad at her.
Yes,
she's trying to help your kid, and you mad at her. She should be at home with us eating, but yet she at the home trying to make sure y'all good, and you mad at her. So I agree with that, man. Like it's you can't change a person. It's hard, man. My goal is that we speak life and people hear it, and then they start to make the decision on their own. Right. You know, because you're gonna have to make that decision. I can't make you. You got to do it. I can tell you about it. You could look at me as an example.
If you got a 14-year-old who's already out there thugging and drugging and carrying on, and they say, "Hey, Tanner, come over here and talk to my son," what you gonna tell him?
Yeah.
If he already out there, what you gonna tell him?
And then when I leave, what he gonna do? I can't be. I got kids. I can't be your daddy. I can't sit here at your house for the next 6 months. Like when I leave, what you gonna do? What your mom and them gonna do to keep you accountable?
And that's the thing. Mom and them can't control them.
Right, they can't. If he wants to come seek you out, seek your advice out, seek your help out through what we do and stuff like that, then that's different. But you trying to go to him, nah.
You can't. They try to clam you.
Look, I'll say it if don't nobody else want to say it. I don't even know if y'all feel this way. There is sometimes when if I'm somewhere and it, especially if it's starting to get dark, I see too many of us black folks.
I'm out.
I say it's trouble around the corner. I tell my fiance I said, look, it's getting late. It's getting crowded in here. It's time to go. Trouble is around the corner. Because I lived it. I know. And people say, "Oh man, Craig, man, you're Uncle Tom, man. How you going to talk about it?" It's the truth. I'm just saying it out loud, man.
It's the truth.
Yeah, they're gonna single us out before anybody else.
If you go down to the beach, like Virginia Beach, at certain times of the year, and like especially on the 4th of July,
dude, it's wild down there in 7 cities, man.
If you go down to the beach and it start to get dark, and you seeing the neighborhoods come out, and it's like, okay, time to go. Okay, the tourists. I told the tourists, my family when they come down, like, okay, y'all want to go down to the beach? I'll take you out there during the daytime, but when it start to get dusk, we out. We going back to the house. We're not going to stay down here and have all these parks and villages and creeks come down and start all the trouble.
Hey, B, bro, was you out there in Virginia when they was doing college nights at King's Dominion? This was back in the day.
I heard.
Dude, this was back in the day. And then they would drive down to Richmond. And dude, when I tell you it was off the chain.
Yeah.
Trust me, when it starts getting crowded, it's time to go. I don't care where you go, Atlanta, Portsmouth, Virginia. I don't care where you go, DC. When it starts getting packed, you out of there. And to try to cover it up and say, no, it ain't like that. You lying. You lying. It's like that for real.
Yeah, dude, I grew up around this stuff, man. Like I remember my friend Terrion had a party, and it was his birthday party at the YMCA. And bro, everybody having a good time. But black people, like, I don't know if it's all black, but black people can't get together and do nothing right. We have a good time. We go to leave. We walk across the street. It's the church. It's the YMCA, and then across the street is a church. It's late, so the church is closed, but the people park in the parking lot. Yep. We go across the street. 30 Crips, Bloods on this side is 20. It was 20 of them. 2 Crips. They doing this. Throwing gang signs.
Throwing gang on the church.
The Bloods come on the church ground to the church parking lot.
Lord have mercy.
And they start jumping this dude, man, and right in front of us, bro. It's like happening. They kicking this dude. They beating this dude down. His homeboy left when they got a gun. We sitting in the parking lot. Blah 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 blah. Bullets is hitting cars next to us.
Yeah, they're just randomly spraying.
Bro, I was so it became real to me. I when I went to college, I never went out. I said, I don't want nothing to do with people, bro. Especially when there's too many black people, man, because it's always some hood stuff jumping off, bro. Everywhere I go, when I see, and let me tell you this, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna shut up, I promise. But I think that people, when you see people who are prejudiced against black people and you see racist people against black people, there's a part of me as I've gotten older that I can understand why people are misunderstanding black people, because I'm just going
misunderstanding.
I'm getting off a few days of just me being just observing black people. I was coming from my executive assistant's house, and I'm driving down the street. I see black people, mostly white people. The first black people I see, the only black people in the area. The homeboy in the car, they smoking weed. I can smell the weed in my car from their car. They in a Range Rover. They Meek Mill. They looking at me like they all thugged out. They Meek Mill. Black people I see from here to my house, and that's a 30-minute drop. The only black people I see, they got to be gangbanging. I get on the plane yesterday. Everybody's walking through the plane, right? I'm sitting towards the front of the plane. Everybody's walking through. This black lady, and I can see her husband look at her like, "What are you doing?" She just decided that she was going to put her bags right in the front because she didn't feel like taking them back there. She wanted to be in on the way out. And, people already got their seats right here. So she's taking up their headspace. And he looking at her like, really? And she like, I don't, we may not find nothing back there. And I'm like, out of all the people that got on the plane, the one who doing something they not supposed to do happened to be a black person. Now, there's a lot of good black people out there. But what I'm saying is that if you white, and you don't get exposed to black people, you never grew up around black people, and you just live in your life and you see that, you start to believe it's all black people like this. Mm-hmm. You go watch the music videos. Are they all like that? And then one of us go to a mall and white people are like, I don't know about this dude.
Right.
It ain't just white folks. It's me too.
It's everybody. It's all of us.
Neiman Marcus. Me and my wife and Neiman Marcus. We're in Neiman Marcus looking around.
Oh, Lord.
It was Nordstrom. We're in Nordstrom, right at the front where the shoes at. Everybody walking in with black dudes coming there.
They got flip-flops and socks on.
with holding their stuff up like holding their pants up.
Stop.
No, bro. I don't even want to buy nothing out of here, bro. Y'all, he cussed. He's saying the N-word. And I swear to God is my witness. The white lady looked at me and I looked at her and I'm like, yeah, I know. They
see.
We got some socks on.
Like, we got to be. It's just me seeing this. Do you see this too?
We connected. She didn't even say nothing. She looked at me and looked at her, and I'm like, I know what you're thinking, and you know what I'm thinking. We know.
Black
folks going over
here. Black folks like us, then we're pushed into the amateur PR role. Then we got to play damage control and convince these people that, hey, I know what you mean. I get it too. I'm not like that. And you may not even have to speak words, but just to be put in that situation when someone turns and looks at you, seeing how you're going to act,
right?
Or seeing if you see what they're seeing. And it shouldn't be like that. But there's a direct correlation between the breakdown of the family and the type of people that come from those areas. This doesn't happen in other places because other races don't have the breakdown of the family that we have. That's always there. You can always connect it back to the breakdown of the family. And these kids being raised wild as hell. No bedtime, no rules.
By their grandmama, their mama.
Yeah. The NIMs, grandmama them, mama them, sister them, that's who gets them. And when you got stuff like that going on, those are the kind of people that you're about to put out in the world, and they don't care. Somebody like us comes along, let's say you try to mentor their kid. As soon as you leave the house, mama's tearing down everything you just tried to build. Oh, so you think you better now? You read? Oh, who is that? Who do you think he is? Just tore down all the work you just did in the matter of seconds. You're powerless against that. Those people are going to produce the kind of people that you run into at Nordstrom. And we're going to have to be like, hey, we ain't all like that.
Look, Jericho, look. If we look at black little boys and teens, right? And I'm not putting women, single mothers down at all, man, because I know this is a great line. There's fault on both sides. We cannot, the majority of little black boys and black teenagers, they're being raised by a grandmama, the aunts, the mom. The dad is gone for whatever reason, whether he was just abandoned his responsibilities, he's locked up, strung out on drugs, whatever that case, got killed, whatever the case may be. The boys are being raised almost 100% influence from a female. Literally, the mothers raising or the grandmothers or someone some females raising them. Then when they go to school, it's predominant female teachers. Now they're being taught by a female. So their influence is almost 100% female influence. Bruh, it is not succeeding. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. Right now, we have a high percentage of single family homes the boys, the kids are being raised in single family homes. It's affecting us, man. It is, man. It's affecting us. And it makes me wonder, because I heard about the Patrick Moynihan report. And they did a study, and correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick Moynihan, he did the study and he did a comparison of white males when the unemployment went down, welfare went down. And then they used the same studies back then, in 1964, I want to say, black males, unemployment was going down. We were working. We was going out. We were getting jobs. We were working. The unemployment was going down, but the welfare kept going up. So it only leads me to question what happened after that war on poverty. What is going? It is not working. Having the women just raising our boys, it's out of control. So when we hear we need male influence, when we hear we need dads, this stuff is for real, man. It is destroying our culture. It's destroying the whole fabric of this society in America. Go ahead.
No, just saying too is like, we got to talk about all the little elephants in the room when it comes to fathers, because you have men who are cowards and they abandon their responsibility, and then you have these toxic women, bruh. These women that are so toxic. They mess with men, they have a baby with them, and they so toxic that men can't stick around with these people because they violent. They use the kids in the middle. And some men just like, bro, I'm gonna move on and go have a whole other family. I don't want to deal with your drama. That's not all men, but I'm saying that's some of the reasons why men are in a kid's life to some degree, because some of these women are horrible, bro. They are horrible, and the court system gives them just complete control, and they wreck these young boys. They wreck them. And dad want to be there. Maybe the dad want to be there.
Lines. That's for everybody in America. Black, white, everybody.
Black, white,
the reason we see an influx in single parent homes, I believe, is because of the court system. There's an incentive. 100%. There's an incentive. If you marry and you don't like the man, you women are majority of the divorce filed are coming from women. Now it could be because men are dirtbags, or it's an incentive because if you do something you don't like, you can bail and you get everything. You win. You bail, you get the kids. There's no incentive for you to stay with him because you can ditch him and keep everything that you want. Men, they ditch you. They get finna lose everything. They finna lose half at least. Even if both of y'all working, they're gonna lose half of what they work for, and they're gonna lose the kids.
And then on top of that, lawyer, alimony, perhaps residual income. Like I heard a story of a guy got divorced from a woman after like 2 years, no kids. 20 years later, he was still paying her alimony.
And these women be getting other men, and they get other men. Like they married to somebody else, or they're in a relationship, and they still get money.
I seen I gotta look it up. I seen a study where they said the number one way women become millionaires is through divorce.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. And you got
but let me be fair to women, because a lot of times in marriage, like in my situation with my wife don't have to work. I make all the money. You know, I built her a little store, so she make a little money on the side, but I make all the money. But this is an arrangement that we had. So if I divorce her, she has been spending all these years without working because she's been dependent on me to work. So if I divorce her, I'm leaving her out to dry. So I understand why she should get half of my money, because we built this together.
She completely depended on you too.
Right. And I put her in a situation where she don't have to work. So just ditching out on her is wrong in general. However, and that's but I think that sometimes that ain't the case, bro. Sometimes these women if she filed for divorce on me, I'm not gonna do nothing to be crazy. But if she filed for divorce on me because she want another man, she the dummy. Because she the one, she not working, and so she gonna put herself out there. However, the court system will rescue her. Yep. Because she gonna still get half of my stuff.
And that's the problem. And that incentivizes the single parent households, because one person says, you know what, I'm having a bad day. I'm taking our 5 kids and I'm leaving. So now you broke the home, and you're getting paid to do it. It's terrible.
The man, you just got to deal with it.
Yep.
You just got to move into a smaller place. You just got to, and palimony is the worst. Palimony is we got to pay that woman until she dies, even if she gets another man. So you're sitting there paying this woman that one day just turned your life upside down, took it. Could you imagine? Those of us who have kids, could you imagine somebody taking your kids from you and you can only see them on the weekend with somebody looking over your shoulder? But you got to do all that. You got to stomach all that, move into a tiny place, pay for them to keep the house, and she gets another man, and you still got to pay for that?
While they raise a beta male.
And don't get mad in court, because they use it against you. See, he's hostile.
Look, he can't stand still. Look. And then the kid is left to be raised like a Colin Kaepernick.
Bro,
and then he's gonna come out.
I had to bring him up.
And he's gonna come out 20 years later making a documentary talking about what a dirtbag you were and how terrible you were.
Brandon, we gotta touch on it, man. We gotta touch on Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
Oh yeah, let's do Kaepernick. We got it for 7 minutes. We got 7 minutes and we 2 hours. Let's do chat. Bro, I'm gonna let y'all go for it. Y'all go. Somebody in the comment section say I was talking too much. Y'all go for Kaepernick.
I'm about 4 episodes in, and how his parents still talk to him, I don't know, because they are portrayed as there's a scene where he is getting on there. His 2 white parents are on an elevator. Dude's getting off the elevator. He holds the door for them to get in. They say thanks. Colin Kaepernick at 15 years old, this tall, skinny, pimple-faced dork. That's what he looks like. He looks like his dad in a shirt tucked in, members-only jacket, the biggest nerd you've ever seen in your life. And the dude leans in the elevator and tells his parents, "You good? You okay with this black kid on the now that he went in pants sagging, braid, yo. None of that. He's like, hello guys," and he says, "You good?" He portrays, and then his parents say, "Ooh." The doors close and they say, "Ooh, somebody's having a bad day." And because Colin Kaepernick said something to the guy. And the dad goes, "Ooh, somebody's having a bad day." And he goes, "Yeah, man, I don't know what his problem was." And he goes, "We were talking about you, Colin." Like they're just these hapless, I don't see what you're talking about. They already had kids of their own. So they reached down in the gutter and pulled your sorry, ungrateful behind from the depths of darkness and raised you in an upper middle class family. And you turn around and portray your parents to be a bunch of dummies?
Cut that nappy hair off, boy.
How can you? And his parents were telling him things that a parent of any color would tell him. Stop worrying about this insignificant nonsense, because he's focused on his hair for an episode. You gotta stop focusing on that. Focus on your schoolwork. Any parent who loves their kid is going to tell them that. Don't focus on this insignificant nonsense. Focus on your books. But apparently that's just a white thing. And if you tell your black kid, who you saved, by the way, to not worry about his hair, you're a racist.
He's not even black though. This is the conundrum that I always experience when mixed people, when biracial people always have to pick black. Why do you always want to pick the victim side? Because Colin, bruh, at the end of the day, you mix with 2 different races. I don't know if he mixed white and black or
black and white.
White and black.
Yep.
White and black, bro. So you got your ancestry is slave owners too, and then you got some that were slaves. If you want to go that way, you got both of them in you. Why you just picking a victim side? But you were raised with white family. You should have just picked the white side.
It's always,
but he ain't gonna do that. That's not what's popular.
It's always about overcompensation. You see that a lot with a lot of these revolutionary types of Black Lives Matter artists and that. Malcolm X, light skin, red hair. Huey P. Newton, same kind of way.
Yeah.
Even Farrakhan.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah, it's like that because they feel like they're not black enough and they're not quite white. So they got to overcompensate to prove their blackness. That's where all this radical stuff comes from. So when he first came into the NFL, he had his little turtle. He had like this big tortoise. He was just playing with his tortoise, hanging around with basketball shorts on and flip-flops, just living the life, right? Like the same way he was raised. But then as he got later in the career and the NFL stuff started to kind of die off and the skills started to fade, what can I do next? Hey, you know what? I get attention when I put my afro out and I'm more blackity black. And I can make money right here and I get an acceptance right here. So I'm going to go further into that. That's what it is. It's about identity and trying to grift off of this over exaggerated identity.
He said Steve Urkel.
Yeah. What's wrong with Urkel?
What's wrong with somebody saying what?
What's wrong with that?
It's what happened when you're not really black, but you're trying to overcompensate for what black activists say. Because it ain't nowhere in the world that you can look at Steve Urkel and you can look at what's his name from Fresh Prince, Carlton.
Steve Urkel was in science and he was inventing things. How he become a puppet for white supremacists?
I mean, because in his mind, they're not black enough because it's projecting. I wasn't black enough. They're not black enough. They're trying to be like me. But in reality, yeah, but it's like, what does that mean? What does acting white mean?
Exactly.
You got people that they're just like Steve Urkel. Colin Kaepernick was Steve Urkel. And Carlton, that was him. So are you not black? Are you not whatever you think? I mean, it's stupid.
He just comes off as real weak, man. Real whiny, real feminine. Everything his coaches, I don't know, Colin, like everything that they said to him was just he just couldn't handle it. Look, that's when he got his Beats by Dre contracts and his McDonald's contracts. That's what he looked like.
He looked
once he started getting irrelevant. Then
I thought it was Arabic. I thought it was Arabic.
I ain't know it was black. I ain't know it was black.
Never thought he was black. Not one time. Look at the
Colin Kaepernick. Search Colin Kaepernick turtle. You see his turtle you had, man.
Don't tell me the turtle. Don't do the turtle on him,
bro. And when he said NFL combines are like slave markets,
that was him. That's him playing with the turtle.
Turtle, dude.
Yeah.
Now,
come on.
You tell me what black kid in the hood has got a turtle like that. Look at this turtle. Where you get that turtle from, man?
Hey, man.
Bro, he was living the life, man. He was living the life.
Bro, he was living the life. Animal.
He was living the life that every kid wants. 2 loving parents with the means to give them everything they need and the support. That's what he had. And for some reason, that's bad.
He looks Middle Eastern, man. Like
good parents are only for white kids, apparently.
And somehow he compared the NFL to the slave block.
The NFL combine to a slave market.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up, man.
That's what he looks like through the whole.
Look at his whole
series.
look.
Social justice warrior, Bama.
Think about this, bro. His hair ain't naturally like froey like that.
That is a beautiful afro.
Curly like this.
Hey, that's a beautiful. It's like a wig. It's like a Tyler Perry movie wig.
Yes. His hair,
like a microphone.
His hair is curly,
Don't
bro.
Tell me he got a wig on, man.
Back when he was Arabic. Back when he was Arabic.
He's Arabic.
I'm trying to find.
Yeah, and then he hooked up. He hooked up with that girl who's on a watch list or something, and she twisted his head all up.
She got him into social justice stuff, man.
And then I got a buddy who lives in the Bay Area with his Know Your Rights campaign. And because he's from Turlock, which is a couple hours from the Bay Area, but it's ran by Asian people. He's talking all this black nonsense and black people and brown people and oppressed, but it's all ran by a bunch of rich Asian kids from Berkeley. So which one is it,
bro? We roasted.
Bro, he just not really black. He looks Arabic.
He's Arabic
at best. But you know, let's just talk. Let's just go over this NFL thing just real quick, and I think it goes without saying. He tried to say that when they measure you for the NFL combine, see how fast you are, how you can jump, and all that other stuff. you know, first of all, it's not a one-to-one comparison because they didn't, you know, they were looking at your physique more so, and they can tell if you were strong or not when they were, you know, picking you as a slave. In the NFL, bro, you work hard to compete so you can get paid more than the slave owners. You know what I'm saying? Well, not the you're not gonna be paid an owner, but the coaches, the people who lead the organization, some of them get paid more than they do, bro. And you are opening yourself up. If black people would do the right thing with the money, they will have generational wealth from these sports athletic programs. Right. You get a free scholarship to start with before you even get to this point. So you should already have a free education. That should be number one. You top 1%. Then you get paid all this money, and I think the league minimum is like $500,000. You get paid $500,000 a year, bro. And these dudes are 23 years old. Yep. If you do it right, the average time in the NFL is 3 years, 3 to 5 years. If you save your money and you do what's right, y'all should be making $1 million, and you should be able to create generational wealth.
But they're not doing that, Brandon. What they're doing is they're in New York when you're not supposed to have no guns, and they're shooting themselves in the leg. Yeah. They own
Plexico
guns.
Plexico in the club.
They pit bull fighting in their backyard.
Yeah.
They damn near stabbing and killing people. Ray Lewis. They getting drunk and running in the back of other people's car when they have opportunities to create generational wealth for their family. And possibly go back to where they come from and make a difference.
Yep.
But they're making all these foolishness mistakes.
And to compare an NFL combine, number one, you want to be there. You've been dreaming about this moment. No young African kid was dreaming about being a slave. No slave was laying in their bed sleepless, being excited about the next morning when they get sold. No, this is an NFL. And by the time some of these fools show up to the combine, they're already millionaires. Find me a slave that could not go out in public because of all the adoration. Oh, I can't even pick cotton. I got to sign autographs all the time. I got the ladies on me. Get out of here with that crap. And what's even worse than him saying that, and my wife brought this up as a good point. She says young people are going to watch this and believe it.
Right.
Young people are going to watch that and be like, yo, he's famous. He's on TV. It's a Netflix series. It must be true. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Again, that's how good we have it to where a millionaire can complain about the country that made him a millionaire.
But Jericho, white folks produced it. Why do white folks do this to themselves and allow these people to continue to push this BS? Man?
They believe it because they don't know.
Is it self-hatred? What is it?
Partly. I
don't understand.
It's partly self-hatred, guilt. And they believe what they're saying. They believe it. That's what they think. They just don't know any better. They don't know anybody like us that can really talk to them and really give them the reality of what's going on.
Right.
So they don't care to know.
We both get manipulated, right? You got the white liberal get manipulated by white elitists, and they're saying, you know, your people enslaved black people, and the genuine person feels bad.
Yeah.
They're like, dang, you know, that was messed up. What happened to black people? And I hate that, like, people that look like me, and then they start projecting. They go, well, black people probably look at me and they're afraid. Or black people probably think this about me. They never talked to a black person before. And so they go out and they, would you like to have this seat? Would you like to have this job? Because poor black man, according to everything I hear, they treat you so poorly in this country. Yeah. And young black men growing up that have some negative experiences, they brainwash them too. Well, white people really don't like you. And black people have never been around white people like that. When I was growing up, I wasn't around white people like that. So I would believe that they were out here being racist and, you know, they looking for opportunity to do something to a black man or whatever. And then when I started being around white people, I'm like,
not at all.
Couldn't even be further from the truth. I think white people like me more than black people do.
Yeah, you know? And it will help you. People will help you if they see you trying to help yourself, man.
Yep.
It's crazy to me. And then the first thing they say, man, most of y'all audience is white. But you don't say that to Oprah Winfrey. You don't say that to Queen James. You don't say that to some of the other people that race baiters.
LeBronica. Yeah, because those people are not challenging the dynamic. They're not challenging it. Like, because this is what, if you grew up believing white people were racist, see, God had to change me. I wasn't going to change. God released that burden from my heart. But if you were told your whole life that some of the things that didn't happen for you, the reason why your parents ain't rich and all this other stuff because of white supremacy and white people doing this, and the reason why you get pulled over is because of white people, and white people don't get pulled over like this. If you live your whole life like that, bro, and then one day somebody said, oh, that's a lie, bro. You live in a whole lie. It's hard to accept that because you made your identity this whole person, and the world to you has been this way. And when somebody break all that down, you got to find out who you are again. And if you ain't got God, you don't know your position in Christ, then you really feel lost. So you start fighting against that because you want an identity, right? You want to connect yourself to Martin Luther King. You want to connect yourself to the African tribes, you know, hoping to God with this false sense of believing that all Africans were this kumbaya and everybody got along. They were doing more killing and they were doing more killing than the Europeans were doing. And
like, you know, bro, they sold us into slavery for nonsensical things, beads, mirrors, and alcohol.
Right, bro. They like, it's funny because people like to go back to Africa and they have this false sense of reality what Africa really was. It's like, no, bro. How did the slave trade get proliferated? Because of other black people who sold other black people to other countries. Like
they doing it now.
We are our own work. And you talk about tribes. How do you think the Moors? They talk about colonization and how white people go and do all this stuff. And it's like, have you heard of the Moors? They were more dominant than just about any tribe in the world.
Dude, they ran.
Go ahead.
They ran up in the mountain and would slaughter anybody that came close to them. Trust me, I know.
That's what everybody did.
The Moors were running it for a while, man. They were more prolific than I'm trying to think of the Romans. I mean, the Moors were competitive with the Romans. I don't think their reign was as long, but they were up there when you do research of groups or of people who dominated the world. The Moors were here in America before Christopher Columbus ever thought about it. Thousands of years before they were here. They were here in America with the native people. So, you know, it's like they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how the Pasquayaki tribe or the you know, the Incas, and how did they even get to that point? Because they conquered other people to get to a certain point of established established group.
You got the Mayans. The Mayans, they slaughtered
like 40,
hundreds of millions. 40. They slaughtered hundreds of millions of people. And don't tell me that they didn't have no African influence. They had step pyramids. If we look at the pyramids, how did the pyramids get all the way over here? It had African influence, man. So we all we doing is talking in circles. And they want to say CRT teaching history, but you ain't teaching all the history, man. You ain't putting everything.
Teaching the history that promotes their narrative.
Promotes their narrative.
Yeah.
That's what everybody did. That was par for the course. If you conquered somebody, you're going to take their stuff. You're going to enslave their people. You're going to get a hold of their women. That's what they did. That's what everybody did. Every single race of people, that is what they did to whoever they could do it to. If you were too small or too weak, you're about to get got, and we're about to take all the war-age men and make them slaves, period. Every race of people dealt with that, but they can't. It's just like making us think here in America that black people were just cotton pickers and just picked tobacco. They helped to build this country. That means everything. That means blacksmithing. That means architecture. It means everything. But to tell young black people that you came from greatness, well, that's going to make them want to think they can be great. And if you think you're great and can do it on yourself, well, then what do I need this federal government for? I don't need you. And if you don't need them, they no longer have their power. So that's why they don't tell you the truth. They were black slave owners. So who's going to pay reparations now? It's so ridiculous, man. They just want you to think that you were downtrodden. You continue to be downtrodden. Well, then how do we get the Colin Kaepernicks of the world and the Oprahs? How did you get through? Because they got this network of systemic racism in place. So how did you break through? Instead of telling me what I can't do, tell me how you did it. Oh, hard work. Well, we can't have that. We can't have a race of people working hard, because then that's exactly what you'll do. And if you're providing for yourself, well, you know the rest.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Jericho, nobody could say it better than what you said, is that they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know the truth about Harriet Tubman. They don't want you to know that Harriet Tubman was married, and her husband was a free man, a free black man. And she was at home with her husband. They were living together at the time when she actually escaped and created the Underground Railroad. They want you to think Harriet Tubman was somehow in the field getting beat over the head. Harriet Tubman had a job too. She had a job. She worked. And of course, she made her own money, but she was still owned by a slave owner. But she had a lot of flexibility and freedom to do stuff. And people also don't want you to know that her husband told her not to do it. He told her, Harriet, don't do it. You shouldn't do this. But she did it anyway. And thank God she did it. I think that was the right decision she made. But they don't want you to think of black people being some of slaves having access to working, jobs, income. They were getting married. They were also paying for their freedom. Yeah, and some slave owners, every slave wasn't a field slave. I don't know why people think every slave in the South was a field slave. That's why they have to have slaves. They had some slaves that worked in the cities. They had some slaves with they were slaves in chauffeuring and doing stuff like that. They weren't all in the field. And so people get that misconstrued. There was a lot of them in the field, but there still wasn't a lot of white people that owned slaves. You had to have money. You had to have status to own slaves. You know, it's like cattle. You know, the average American can go out and buy 6 or 7, cows or whatever. You don't have the money. I don't know how much cows cost, but I'm sure they're thousands of dollars. They're not cheap.
Try buying a horse. Like, where you going to put a horse at?
Yeah.
The horse in your little in your shed in the apartment complex. Where you going to put a horse at? How you gonna do?
Slaves, that was part of the I'm white kid. When you were white back then, you got a slave, you got some land, you got some guns, you got all kinds of stuff just for being white. Man, I saw a cute college-age white girl get her car towed white in front of me. So I don't want to hear about no white privilege, because who would have more white privilege than that? That cop didn't want to hear it. She's standing right there with her belongings as her car got jacked up on the tow truck, and she got taken to jail. Man,
right here, the car is going away. The Starbucks make a difference. You getting told.
Here's your Starbucks cup. Here you go. And you left your gift card in the car. Here you go. Take that.
I don't hear that crap, man. But we can't know that we came from greatness, because then that's what will be expected of us. Yeah. And those two things can't exist in the same space at the same time. Dependence on the government and dependence on yourself. You got to pick one.
Somebody said Ohio today, a whole cow costs $3,000. So I mean, just think about that today. Could any average person just pay for a cow? And that's just to buy it. You gotta take care of it.
Average person, regardless of race, like just white, black, whatever. Do you just have $3,000 in disposable income to say, hey, let me get a cow? Put it in my backyard.
You can't. Yeah, you can't just put the thing in the backyard. Like you got some acres, because it's it's gonna need to be able to graze and move around, and so you got to feed it. You probably got to clean it. You got to have a place for it to stay.
What if you get cow virus? You got to take it to the vet. That can't be cheap.
Or you just,
how are you going to get it there?
You just let it die, and then your $3,000, that's your $3,000 gone.
How are you going to get it there? You got to have a trailer. Are you going to pay for the vet to come out to your house? Yeah. I hope you got another $3,000.
Yep.
Yeah, and then what you gonna do with it? Are you gonna eat it? Are you gonna, is it gonna be a dairy cow? Are you gonna milk it? Like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, so, and you're gonna have to know what to do with it. They just think that every white person that was born, they just woke up one day. Everybody know how to milk cows, and everybody know how to, do all of those things that I guarantee you 90% of Americans have no idea. You go out to a farm, a dairy farm, people don't even know what they're doing. They don't know how it works. I mean, I remember when we were young, they should have teach us how to milk a cow. You think you just squeeze it. No, you gotta massage it down and get the milk out. But you don't know that. The average person don't know that. You don't know.
It's just
people think there's no point in hunting because you could buy meat from the store.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're killing that. Yeah, they advocate.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's exactly what
they got it right there in Costco. You don't got to go hunt, man. You just killing animals for no reason. It's like
I don't know why people hunt. Then when they hunt, it's like what they hunting for. The people that hunt is how do you get these things? Filet mignon you eating at their restaurant. Somebody killed that animal.
They didn't just sing it to death. They had to, there had to be some violence in there at some point.
Massage it slowly, and the cow looked at him and said, "It's time.
Please,
I'm ready to go."
Yeah. Hey, everybody wants an omelet, but they don't want to break no eggs.
Right. These people are stupid, man. I mean, most people are stupid, but that's just the culture we live in. With the Colin Kaepernicks of the world. And the sad thing is, and I'm gonna say this, and I know we got to go, and I'll let you guys comment on it. But the sad thing is, bro, they are rewriting history. In 20 years from now, bro, they're gonna say Black Lives Matter fought for equality in America because America was racist. It was more racist in the 60s. Donald Trump is the most racist president in history. They may even say he owned modern slaves and stuff like that. Like, they are going to change history because they're doing it with Netflix. Like, this is a real documentary of a fool comparing the NFL draft, or at least the combine, to slavery, and they let him do it. That let him do it. That's like saying that women deserve to be raped. Like, they would never let that happen on a Netflix series, they say, look, you got to cut that out. That don't make no sense right there.
Yeah, it's not true.
Comparing slaves, because you're implicating the owners too in the combine recruits. You're saying that they're like slave owners. And there's black men who recruit in the NFL. Are they slave owners? There's white guys that go through the combine.
Black coaches.
Black head coaches. There's white people that go through the combine too. You think all these
he left them out.
He left them out. Hispanics, he left them all out.
Yeah, they left all the white people out. They were off to the side getting massages, drinking iced tea.
You got Tom Brady right now on the internet and his draws at the combine. It's like, what about him? He's going to totally ignore Tom Brady, half naked. I mean,
looking retarded, running down there,
just looking ridiculous.
Knowing he don't have to do the 40-yard dash to be a quarterback, but he running like he got 3 legs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
but look, every now and then they got a glitch on the left. They got a glitch. What's his name? Von Jones. Talking about
Van Jones.
Oh, I think yeah, so I think we're missing the mark in our echo chamber. We may be offending people and going about this all wrong. It's like you think. So it's sometimes they'll have a glitch. There's people that's waking up and they see the stuff that they be doing, but somebody's gonna go back and reference this video and be like, nah, them 4 dudes right there was calling it what it was. This Kaepernick, they'll be using us, dropping facts on them. Somebody's gonna combat this crap.
Yeah, they gonna try to ban it off the internet. You ain't gonna never hear from it again. Yeah. You know, I just think that's what they're trying to do, man. They're trying to blot out history and rewrite it. So the kids think that racism was real. It wasn't real. This is Black Lives Matter is a domestic terrorist organization. They weren't fighting for nothing. Black men they stepping over black dead men to argue about white supremacy. Like,
it's already been fought. The battle for equality in this country has already been fought. But because we have it so good, we have no natural predators, they're going to stir something up because something doesn't exist. Man, it is sad and disgusting. Why not sit back and enjoy the prosperity, enjoy the fruits of the past generations' labor? They went through the realness. The NFL today is not the NFL of the 60s. Them fools had jobs in the off season. They got it way easier now, and that goes for everything. And the beauty of it, what draws people here like a moth to a flame from thousands of miles away is whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. Your skin color doesn't matter. Your status doesn't matter. You can change your status. Be what you want to be, but it's all on you. And that's the beauty of this country. People can gamble on themselves, no matter what they say. They can talk all the crap they want about this being a racist country, white supremacy, Hitler Part 2 was president. I still see him flooding over here by the millions. I still see him floating over here on milk jugs and makeshift rafts. So when that stops, then I'll listen.
And I'm gonna end it with this. Somebody begged me to pay $200 for a super chat just for me to put this on here. So probably more than that. I think he paid me a couple times. So in respect for this gentleman, thank you for the super chat. He wanted me to reference
Larry Elder posted it.
The painting of the day.
I seen Larry Elder posted that too.
Yeah, I want to do Larry Elder draw these.
No.
Is this Larry Elder's thing? Larry Elder's always posting these, so I figured he must be behind the paintings or the drawings. He's not.
No. Is he drawing? He got some skill.
He probably just
is that a MAGA hat? What is that?
That's so funny. I wish he was my governor.
Yeah, but that's a Virginia flag right there. Normally
that's the Commonwealth seal.
Right. No, normally it says Sic Semper Tyrannis. Thus I bring death to tyrants underneath that. But then it says, let's go, Brandon.
Stepping on CRT, the communism shirt.
Let's go. The next term to be banned on the internet.
Yeah, right. Let's go, Brandon. They hunting for it, bro. I think somebody said it was like the FBI need to look into the term because it's so stupid.
Hey, but what is the FBI doing? Because they got time to look into some nonsense. Like, is the world good to go? Why is the FBI looking into parents at meetings and let's go, Brandon?
Dude, they got too much.
Lord. I guess ain't no more human trafficking, ain't no more drugs, nothing like that. That's what's going on.
They solve all the problems in the world.
The honey-do list is complete.
Yeah,
crazy. But let me get down here. I'm supposed to be watching a movie with my wife when the baby go to bed. She gonna be.
Oh man, we don't turn to the private time.
I said, baby, I'm just gonna do 1 hour. I'm gonna do 1 hour sleep watching movies, and I'm up here 2 hours later. But she loved me anyway. I bought her a hat, so maybe she'll be happy. And she went to my sister's closet. Yeah, I saw what she spent in my sister's closet, so I can get an extra hour on her.
Before we get out of here, man, I want to say congratulations to Craig about your upcoming nuptials.
Right,
Congratulations, man. That's what we need. We need more good people making families. That's what's going to save this country, man. I'm happy for you. It's awesome to have somebody in your life to have your back, and all this craziness that we call life, man. So congratulations, bro. I saw the video and everything on IG. That was tight.
Yeah, I saw it. I
boy.
watched it.
Shit, I almost threw my knee out, but I got
That's
it.
right, man. You hold it together during that proposal. You did good, man.
Risking it all, boy. Risking it all.
ACL, man. You got to keep going on.
Yeah,
I'm blowing out my ACL for you, girl.
Yeah.
You better say yes.
Threw my meniscus out. I put a pretty penny in that ring too. So I hope this thing goes well. You know what I mean?
Better go well. You better put a. No, I ain't gonna say that because I should have
in the
did that on the
prenup.
first one. I wish I'd have had a clause in there where I said, if you mess up, you gotta give me that back, bro. I need that money.
Oh, Brandon, it's going in the clause.
No, it's starting out with the wrong. Let me get out here before you say something, get in trouble.
We're gonna if this don't go right, we're gonna make that a pinky ring. I'm joking, everybody. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I love
know
it to death,
Beyonce
man.
back there. She on the other side of this camera. We're gonna see something come through. Pow.
Yeah, she over there staring at me now, like,
Nah, but man, I appreciate you guys on, man. I need to get up off here. But yeah, everybody know ABL, real quick. I mean, 30 seconds. Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? All of the above.
Best place. You see it right there, ABL, right on YouTube. Search the 3 letters right there, ABL. I'll pop right on up. Also, the best place, there you go. Also, the best place, go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOJN.com. Check me out.
Perfect. Jericho.
Man, I gotta start going before ABL because man, he put me to shame. But hey, same thing, YouTube right there, Jericho Green at JG Talk on Instagram, JerichoGreen.net. That's where you'll find me.
Perfect. Craig.
You can find me, obviously, it's right there, IG, Real Craig Long 45. I am starting a YouTube channel. I've been inspired. Just go ahead and get it going. I'm working on the name, but right now it's Craig Long 45 Show. And I appreciate you guys bringing me on. And yeah, man, it was good. I had a lot of fun tonight.
Appreciate it.
Always.
Y'all go to all these links. Everybody got merch. I think Jericho Green with green gear. ABL got his merch. I got merch. So
I got merch as well. 45strong.com.
Yep. So go to everybody's links. You can find them on there. Shop, support everybody. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. Just real quick testimony. I was in the airport and a guy who speaks around the country, he just came up to me. We started a conversation. He recognized me from social media and he was like, man, God want me to sow a seed in your life. And he said, I'm gonna donate $1,000 to you. And I was like, all right, I received it in Jesus' name. So the guy supported me, and so I'm gonna find somebody and give that $1,000 to. I'm gonna find a person. I don't know if I'm gonna go to a restaurant, go somewhere, and I'm gonna give that person $1,000 because I feel like God blessed me. I want to return that blessing to somebody else. But that's why I'm saying it to say, y'all go on and support everybody on here. If you got something to support the people you like, you follow, because in some ways, this is how some of us make a living to a certain degree. Some of this money helps us pay some bills. So that's a way to support. Instead of just giving money, you can get something in return. That's what my store is all about. It's like, you don't need to just give me money. You can get you a nice shirt. You can get you a nice hat. You can get you some stuff that you really love. You can get you one of them flags, one of them wooden flags in ABL's background. And that's another way to support the person you love so we can keep making these videos. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay tuned, stay in the background. I'm gonna say a quick word to y'all, but I'm gonna finish the show out. I appreciate y'all coming on. ABL, Craig, Jericho Green. I love you guys. We still got 30% off the hoodies on my store. So if you're interested, the link could be in the description section. 30% off. I'm gonna keep it open. We're gonna restock everything, I think, tomorrow. So just keep an eye out. We're gonna restock the hoodies. Once we restock, I'm ending the sale. So restock, y'all get it. I'm gonna wait till the following Monday, then I'm gonna end the 30% off. So I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I'll see you on the next live stream every Thursday, 6:30. We run the panel. Peace.